Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock today. Sammy will keep the party rolling, with whom I've heard is a very special guest coming up at 2 o'clock. Schaefer and Sliwa will be your drive home today on San Diego Sports 760. We got Russell Dickerson tickets to give out over the next couple of hours. We got some, I think, an awesome story going on in the NBA playoffs with one superstar talking some smack and another superstar stepping up his game in a big way last night. The Padres were out in Milwaukee yesterday. They take a loss, but the good news is the Dodgers also lost. So the Padres remain atop the NL West. And we got new spanking NFL games added to the schedule for this year. We'll kind of react to it all.
It's like Christmas Eve today with the schedule released tomorrow.
It really is. And we got 10 games that have been released today, including one that just got released. Sammy told you about in the update. What was it? Thanksgiving Eve?
We got Packers Rams Thanksgiving Eve.
Packers Rams Thanksgiving Eve. It's going to be a fun show here today. If you want to interact with it, YouTube at San Diego Sports 760. Whether you are live or on replay, please make sure that you're subscribed to that YouTube page so you can get a notification when we go live every single day. The free iHeartRadio app, of course, is an excellent way to listen to this show. Just search San Diego Sports 760 and hit that little plus icon in the top right-hand corner of your screen to add us to your presets. On Twitter, we are live at Fletch and Sammy. And, of course, on that old school AM radio dial, AM 760 is the spot to listen. Sammy, how we doing? You ready to have a great show?
I am ready to have a great show.
Like the greatest show of all time?
The best we can possibly do.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I got a good feeling about today. We got another major in golf starting tomorrow. We got NBA playoffs. Look, last night was a blowout game. I loved watching Victor Wembanyama get his after the comments from Anthony Edwards a couple days before. That was a lot of fun. The Padres game was a bit of a struggle for me, if I'm being honest. And a lot of people are coming on today killing Matt Waldron. What are you really expecting from Matt Waldron? Yeah. Would be my question. He had a blow up fourth inning and he didn't throw the knuckleball a ton. That would be my criticism of Matt Waldron's performance. I think he only threw the knuckleball like 12 times yesterday. And that's what he is. He is a knuckleballer. And it was working well for him a week ago. I don't know why he strayed away from it as much as he did. And it led to a blow up. And that happens with your fifth starting pitcher, realistically, your sixth or seventh starting pitcher, considering who's on the injured list. And so for Matt Waldron, I still sort of look to the offense. And I'm like, you guys couldn't have picked him up once. I mean, Fernando Tatis Jr. grounding into a double play in a big situation early in the game. You got Manny Machado with an opportunity in the eighth to make something happen. It doesn't happen. And then the ninth inning, you get a run across and then bang, bang, bang. It was Fermin, it was Jackson Merrill, and it was Ramon Laureano. No, Laureano walked in the ninth. Someone else. All kind of go down right away in the ninth inning with non-competitive ABs. So, yeah, Matt Waldron wasn't good. I don't know if we were expecting him to be great, but the offense, this offense needs to be able to put up some more runs. And that's still my big takeaway from yesterday's game.
Right. And yeah, it's hard. Like I get it. It's easy to kind of have certified patience. Like you can, like with the Lakers, you can get mad at Jared Vanderbilt, but Jared Vanderbilt gets paid what Jared Vanderbilt gets paid. Right. So it's hard for me to sit here and kill Jared Vanderbilt. Same goes for Matt Waldron. Also,
Waldron's on his way out. Like that's why Lucas Giolito is a Padre now.
Right. He's not going to be here in a week. And look, I get it. What you want to expect greatness from your pitchers. And did he have the best night? No, but 4 runs on the road. All right. I give Tatis credit for getting on in the eighth, but they didn't really, do much outside of that. It feels like the Padres continually rely on getting the team's bullpens. And today with the Miz on the mound, he's unbelievable. The Padres could really make a statement if they were able to get to him, because he is one of the star young pitchers in this league. I mean, he had something like 20 some odd pitches last week, throwing 130 miles per hour. I don't even know what that dude could do. He might be able to throw harder than Mason Miller if he was just coming out of the bullpen. I mean, it's unbelievable. Him as a starting pitcher to watch. The Padres get a great opportunity today, but it just feels like this is what happens when you don't hit starting pitching and you have to wait to teams' bullpens and you step up in competition. And the Brewers, they got Uribe and Trevor McGill, who
Yelich is back all of a sudden.
Right. And that bullpen for the Brewers is very good. That's one of the strengths of their team. Uribe and McGill have been a nice 1-2 kind of punch the last couple of years in the bullpen. So yeah, it's the Padres have to find ways to knock these starters out of the game. It doesn't get any easier today, but then again, I want to see the Padres face the best. And if you want to go make a statement, you got to go do it against a pitcher like you're going to see today.
Yeah, Uribe in the ninth was pretty scary. I thought the Padres kind of got gifted with Ramon Laureano with the leadoff walk and then couldn't really get anything.
And
going.
they kind of got to McGill, to their credit, who used to be the closer, and Uribe took his job. So, yeah, it's they got a big opportunity today.
Padres' best hitter this season, Miguel Andujar, with another home run. If we're going Padres positives, Miguel Andujar.
This guy. Dude, AJ Preller.
In the 8th inning, he was the one who hit the sack, or not the sack fly. He hit it over the center field
wall.
He
dropped it in midfield.
Right.
Yeah, again.
We did get a little Tatis sparkle yesterday, going first to third on the pass ball.
That was good to see.
Look, we need to celebrate these big Tatis moments when they happen. They're happening few and far between, but that's something like a few years ago, we're like, oh, just Fernando being Fernando. And he made it happen last night. I love it when Tatis does stuff like that, man. And it got me fired up a little bit. Just wish for a little bit more out of the offense. And that could have been a difference. I saw this stat about the Padres this year that honestly blew my mind. It was in the last 22 games, if they've scored at least 4 runs, they've won all but 2 of them until yesterday. They scored 4 runs, lost yesterday. So now isn't that wild? It's a wild stat.
It goes back to what we were talking about yesterday.
The pitching's been phenomenal.
I'm sure, they're never going to come out and say this, but I'm sure if you're one of the members of the bullpen and starting pitching staff, you're going like, come on, guys. I don't know what we have to do. And considering that the starting pitching staff, we knew the bullpen was going to be unbelievable. That was, you lose Robert Suarez, but Estrada and Adam and of course Miller. You have so many guys in that bullpen. The Padres do an excellent job of developing bullpen talent. And the starting pitching staff, it's a 16. They're 16th in ERA, but considering the injuries to Pivetta and Musgrove and that Giolito hasn't even thrown yet, that's very impressive. I think a lot of people would have taken 16th with all the injuries they've had if you would have told them that before the season. It really comes out of the bats. If you're going to beat good teams like the Brewers, Mariners, and Dodgers, you have to get the bats going. And we were really looking at the Stars.
And it'd be really nice to start taking advantage of the Dodgers' bad play because they're miserable.
They've been playing awful.
They're miserable right now. And they lost again yesterday to the Giants. Did you notice the Giants outfielders yesterday did not do the weird kind of gyration motion they did the night before?
Yeah, it was a little odd.
Yesterday, they just did a very respectful bow.
By the way, though, we were talking about this before the show. Luis Ariz all of a sudden at second base looks like a Gold Glover.
He made a diving play a couple days ago. Luis Ariz looks like an incredible defensive player now. He was not that with the Padres. All right, set up the show a little bit here. Caleb Davis, the Aztec's general manager for the football team. Look, we're just a couple months away now from football getting going again, college football getting going again. I think we're 4 months away from the NFL, which means we're like 3 months and a week, 2 weeks away from college football really being a part of our everyday lives. So we're going to talk to Caleb about how the offseason is going, the big move to the Pac-12, what that means for the program coming up at 12:30. And then at 1:15, our buddy Jay Silves on YouTube said, I'm getting a little pitch action tonight for your boy at the Murph Dragons. Solace is on fire in San Antonio. We are going to be checking in with I'm going to call him our soccer insider, our soccer correspondent. His name is Tony Sanchez, hosts a podcast called Two Balls and a Mic here in San Diego about SDFC. He's going to be on with us coming up at 1:15. Sammy, let's get to the big 3 where we rip through the top stories in the world of sports. Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers. It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big 3.
Ooh, we got stats on YouTube, Sammy. Our buddy Rich said Sammy did not take into account a pissed-off Wembanyama at home. Sammy has bet the Spurs to lose 5 times this year, and the Spurs have beat the spread all 5 times.
You know what? I can't even. Rich called me out. He's right. I have not believed in the Spurs multiple times this year, and Wemby has made me pay every time.
I love that storyline, by the way. Anthony Edwards saying the Spurs were tougher when Wemby was off the court, and then Wemby comes out, 27 points, 17 rebounds, puts on a masterclass last night.
Unbelievable. Do you think that series is done? Because I don't.
I don't think it's done. I think Minnesota's going to fire right back. But the play last night that kind of just is on repeat in my head, Wemby gets the ball at the top of the key, squares up Rudy Gobert on him, 2 dribbles to the left, spin move, kind of could have dunked it, just lays it up over the rim. It's unguardable. You can't stop it. He is phenomenal, man.
And with a guy like Wemby, you saw last night, he forced Gobert off the floor. And the Timberwolves kept it semi-close because the Spurs missed so many threes at the end of the first half where they could have kind of put the game out of reach. but he forced Rudy Gobert off the floor, who's one of the best defensive bigs in the game. It's so tricky because you got to have the bigs out there, but part of you's like, if you're not going to stop Wemby anyway, just go all offense to see if you can outpace him.
Right, and Gobert can't guard him at the 3-point line.
Right.
You can take him off the dribble every time. All right, where are we going, Sammy?
All right, let's go to golf. So very excited. PGA Championship starting tomorrow out in Philadelphia. But so Rory is the second favorite. Scotty, I believe, is a plus 310 favorite. Rory's checking in at plus 940. So Scotty is definitely a big favorite in the field. But Rory is dealing with a blister on his toe. So he didn't play very well at the Truist Championship last weekend. He only played 3 holes yesterday in a practice round and then decided to go back in to get treatment on it. How big of a deal is this blister, and will it affect Rory overall this weekend?
Yeah, dude, blisters are a problem with golf. You ever seen the episode of The Office where Andy is out at the driving range beforehand? Yeah. And he hits like 1,000 balls the night before. He has blisters all over his hand. It is a problem, to be honest. Like 4 days of not just the golf you're playing, and let's say he shoots 72 every day, like right, or 70, even par for the tournament. That's 70 shots on the course. There's also 700 shots off the course he's taking every day as he's at the driving range. It is a problem. I don't know that it should impact his betting lines. I'll tell you, there are a few people playing really good golf right now. How about a little blast from the past? Have you seen what Ricky Fowler's been doing lately?
I know, Ricky's playing well.
Dude, our guy Ricky is playing phenomenal. Like, could he be in contention here? I really don't know. I'm very excited for this tournament. Beautiful golf course. This is going to be a very, very fun couple of days.
I hope it's not a factor. I really hope it's not too much of a factor. Andy North was talking about how he didn't think it was. Golfers deal with this all the time. But there's a lot kind of riding on this tournament because Rory wins the last 2 Masters. I don't think a lot of people thought he was going to repeat after this year. He hadn't really been playing that great at golf after he won the Masters the year before. Did play well at the Ryder Cup. Where's Scotty at? Scotty's had 3 second-place finishes this year, and we kind of just anointed, rightfully so, Scotty is the guy when Rory was kind of slumping, and now all of a sudden Rory's kind of getting back into that picture. Can Scotty defend it? I'm really excited. It's going to be someone else. You mentioned a Ricky Fowler and Aberts. Got good odds. John Rahm.
Cam Young's been playing terrific. Tyrell Hatton, who the text line swears is my twin, is playing fantastic. Everyone's in contention here. My favorite golfer right now, Chris Gotterup. Hopefully he's in contention this week. It's going to be a very, very fun week.
All right, let's go to Philadelphia. It's for all our Philly fans on the text line. Kind of shocking. So Nick Nurse staying as head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers, but Daryl Morey ousted, considered one of the best GMs in the league, will no longer be the GM for Philadelphia. Was this a good move for Philly?
How is anyone keeping their job in Philly? You just got swept. After being one of the highlights of the first round of the NBA postseason. It ain't working. This is a team that I seriously thought could contend in the East this year.
I did too.
And you get swept and blown out. I don't care if Embiid's on the court or not. You got to have collateral plans for Joel Embiid. When can you expect him to be on the court? Pretty putrid, man. The trust the process thing is dead and gone. Where's Ben Simmons at?
Morey got himself fired with 2 decisions. Number 1, he gave Joel Embiid coming off a meniscus tear and a cleanup. And when usually you're a big time center who has massive injury histories, giving that big of a contract is not usually smart. And Jared McCain in this series against the Lakers for the Thunder might have got him fired. You had the going to be rookie of the year on your team until he got hurt late in the season, Jared McCain, and lost it. And Jared McCain, you trade him for a bag of chips to Oklahoma City, and he's coming off the bench having 12-point performances, 15-point performances, 18-point. Unbelievable. Daryl Morey, he's a good GM. He will land on his feet somewhere, but I probably smart to move on. If I was Philadelphia, I'd build around Maxey and get rid of Embiid. I don't know how much trade value Embiid has right now.
What type of chips did they trade him for?
It was a good kettle. It was a good salt and vinegar.
By the way, have you tried the naked Doritos?
No.
The naked Doritos, they took all the food coloring out of them. Phenomenal.
Really?
I almost like them better than normal Doritos.
That's spicy.
I can't believe I'm
gonna have to try those now. I didn't even know they had that.
It's a completely white bag. It's a really, really tasty.
Netflix just announced. So Quarterback Season 3 premiering July 14th. Here's the cast. Jaden Daniels.
Please don't say it.
Joe Flacco.
Please don't say it.
Baker Mayfield.
All good.
Cam Ward.
All good.
Do you like that list?
Anything with Baker in it, I'm here for. I think that dude is.
I know you love yourself some Baker.
I love myself some Baker Mayfield, man. Yeah, I'm good with it. Cam Ward, I'll be interested to see. Give me the names: Joe Flacco, Cam Ward, Baker Mayfield, and
Jaden Daniels.
Okay, this is actually kind of fascinating.
I like this grouping.
One I don't really care about, even though I'm curious to see like, what does a guy who should be retired do. The Jaden Daniels one, fascinating. Baker Mayfield, great TV, and Cam Ward. I still feel like he was the most under-publicized first overall draft pick maybe in the history of the NFL.
People did not talk. Maybe it's because he went to Tennessee. I don't know, but I'm with you. I like this grouping because the quarterback doc with who was in Mahomes, Mariota, and Cousins was good because they followed the stories of them training.
I think Kirk Cousins became way more likable because of that.
Totally. And it was like you saw with Mariota, like you felt bad. Like, remember he got benched and cut that year. Like you kind of saw the other side of it. The receiver, when they tried to do the same thing with the receivers, it wasn't as great because they just kind of went game by game. It was less about their kind of prep and their backstory. It was more about, it's like I watched the game, so I know what happened. Quarterback, I'm excited for this because Cam Ward, talking about being underpublicized. You're expecting a second-year jump from him. Did Tennessee do enough around him? And then you look at Daniels. Like Daniels was, we're having conversations about, is he a top 5 quarterback after that rookie season? Whether due to injuries last year, to a lack of a roster construction, kind of people have forgotten about him. I wonder if Daniels gets back in that picture. So I'm excited for this. I like the 4 that they chose.
All right, we're going to take a quick break here. Russell Dickerson tickets coming up this hour. We got Caleb Davis coming up this hour to talk some Aztecs football during the offseason. But coming up next, interesting timing. Labor negotiations have kind of begun in Major League Baseball with the MLB and the MLBPA. Safe to say nothing's getting done yet. We'll tell you all the updates on the other side at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760. We got Caleb Davis coming on the show in about 10 minutes. Caleb Davis is the GM of Aztecs football. I was looking through the spring roster earlier today, and honestly, was a little surprised about how many returners the Aztecs have, especially on the offensive side of the football. Defensive, looking forward to seeing some of the guys from last year. Tano Latuli making his way back, one of the senior captains. Interested to see how his recovery is going from the injury he had at the end of last year. We'll talk to Caleb Davis coming up in a little bit to get the full update on Aztecs football. This is the text line, not me, but I'm going to read it. 913. Fletch, would you trade Manny Machado and Tatis straight up for Kyle Schwarber if you could? This team needs consistent slug.
Both of them for Kyle Schwarber?
I would not.
Or one?
I would consider Manny. I don't think I could do Tatis straight up just because of the age.
Well, Manny, I don't
think the Phillies would do that with the contract.
I'm going to answer the question like this. There is no way the Phillies would trade Kyle Schwarber for Manny Machado.
I mean, right now, Manny Machado is the cheapest he will be for the duration of this contract. It jumps up to $40 million a year very, very soon. And it is a long contract, man. I don't think the Phillies would do it either. I don't look. Kyle Schwarber, is he 32, 33?
Something like that.
Yeah, he's on his way out too, man. And he's going to be another expensive aging veteran who is going to hit 25 home runs for the next 5 years and make $25-30 million for the next 5 years. All right, let's see what else we got here.
619 signing injured Joel Embiid to max 3 years and Paul George to a max contract. It's one of the worst GM decisions ever, and probably the main reason Morey got zipped. Love the show, Brian.
Brian, we love you.
We love you, Brian. Hey, I forgot about the Paul George signing. That was Paul George has single-handedly built multiple dynasties, just not with the team that he signed with or was traded to, which is just
such a good point.
Frustrating.
Oh man, and Fresno State's never been the same since he left. All right, if you are curious about what's happening in the world of Major League Baseball, things are good, man. I think baseball is on an uptick. The ABS system is working out beautifully. The pitch clock, which so many people were standing on soapboxes saying, do not put the pitch clock into this game, has worked like a charm, man. I think baseball is incredibly watchable right now. The popularity is rising in spite of the entire offseason being, oh my God, the Dodgers have created a cheat code. They're going to win every game, blah, 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 blah. No, baseball is on the rise right now. And I think it's very, very watchable all across the sport. However, that's knowing that there is a brick wall coming on December 31st this year. And that brick wall is the current bargaining agreement running out between Major League Baseball, the owners, and Major League Baseball, the players. And so yesterday they had one of their first new meetings since they first initially met, and conversations have restarted, right? And so they went to the table yesterday. None of the main players were there, but it was just a conversation where they were exchanging ideas. The report coming out of it, nothing has changed. Both sides equally still dug in. No agreements have been passed back or forth across the table. They did talk about some of the things outside of the salary cap that they want to get done, which is service time, which is the international draft. They want to make it a draft instead of a signing pool, and maybe that comes. But last time they brought this up, the players wanted it to be $260 million guaranteed to the international class. The owners wanted it to be like 160. So they were over $100 million apart from each other. And I don't know that they've gotten any closer on that. But the conversation about the cap is the interesting one, because I think the owners are already in the mindset of, well, we're going to throw this out there as something similar to what the NBA is doing or something similar to the NHL. NFL probably would never go for it. That is, the owners have so much power in the NFL. The Players Association would never even sit down at the table. Here's my thinking on the whole thing. And ESPN actually did a really good job breaking this down. I know The Athletic has an article up about it too. We've been talking about this for a year. We've all known this has been coming for a year.
And we're just waiting.
And everyone's just waiting to throw anything across the table. Like, December's going to be here in what, 7-8 months? Like, if you can't get something done in 7 or 8 months, what the hell are we doing?
I also think that it's like, we can get into this maybe a little bit more later, but what does it do to baseball? Because I really think baseball, to what you just kind of mentioned, has been on an uptick. I mean, baseball 10, 15 years ago was not a dying sport, but it certainly was declining in popularity as others were rising, because so many people were just stuck in their ways. They didn't want to have a runner on second extras. They didn't want to have a pitch clock. Now you got ABS. Baseball was so against change. And I think all three of those things, ABS, runner on second, and pitch clock, have been excellent for the game of baseball. And I think added a lot of new fans who either didn't follow it or kind of lost their way because of how long the season was. I just wonder what not having a season does for Major League Baseball, because does it create more angst for baseball? So when it comes back, the ratings go through the roof because people just want baseball, or is it kind of forgotten about it on the back burner, and then baseball is trying to have to rebuild like all the momentum they gain? I don't know that we see it in San Diego because it's the one of the major four in town,
right?
But in cities where they're competing with NFL teams and NBA teams and big time colleges, you're fighting for a piece of the pie. And unless you're the Dodgers, Cubs, Yankees, or Red Sox, it's kind of hard to sustain that,
There's just so much on ramp. Figure it out between now and December. Don't lose the fan base that you're building. And ultimately, the only people who suffer during these negotiations are fans. And please try to keep that in mind. All right, San Diego Sports 760. Caleb Davis on the other side. He's the Aztecs football GM. We'll get a little preview from him coming up next.
The sport's paid for by Southern California Partnership for Jobs. The Pods are on 440 today, taking on the Brewers. They lost game 1 last night. Michael King will be going for San Diego, while the Miz, Jacob Mizrowski, will be going for Milwaukee. SDFC on the station tonight, taking on Austin FC. That game is at 6:30 here, right here on San Diego Sports 760. In Game 5 in Cavs Pistons series turns back to Detroit now after the Cavs evened it in Cleveland. That game is at 5:00. Detroit is a 4.5 point favorite in that one. Think traffic's getting worse? You're right. We waste 30% more time in traffic today. Vote yes on G. Fix streets and speed up commutes. Let's get home faster. Let's go San Diego. Vote yes on G. Ad paid for by Southern California Partnership for Jobs.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for the next couple of hours. We are your home for San Diego State football, San Diego State basketball, San Diego State athletics. And with that, we are joined by Caleb Davis, the athletic or the general manager of the San Diego State Aztecs football team. Caleb, how are you, man? How's the offseason treating you?
Man, I'm absolutely great. I appreciate you for having me on.
Yeah, we're stoked to have you. Look, the countdown is on, Caleb. I don't know if you know this, but football is just around the corner. We were just having a conversation. We're like 4 months away from the NFL, which means we're 3 months and 3 weeks away from the start of college football. Does it feel like everything's starting to heat up fast?
Oh yeah. Now our schedule, it never ends. So it's funny. As soon as we flip the page from the portal, you go straight into spring ball, and then you get done with spring visits, spring ball, and it's right into high school OV. So we're prepping, recruiting the next set of Aztecs right now, and just trying to find ways to get around the community and keep on elevating this program.
How do you change scouting versus looking at high school players and scouting that versus the transfer portal? Is it just kind of a broad sweeping look across the country, or are you guys targeting certain regions?
No, I think local recruiting is always best. Like it doesn't matter where you're at. If you get kids, I would describe this to parents and kids as they come sit in my office. Like every kid's going to get homesick. I went to college 20 minutes from home, and I get homesick on the weekends. And so it always helps being able to retain kids year to year and recruit kids and help captivate the community if you got that local talent. So we'll scour the entire country for the portal, try to find our most productive fits. And then high school recruiting is generally more tailored to local based, California based, and then branch out into some of our subsectors out there, whether that's the PNW, Arizona, Texas, with an emphasis on local recruiting.
Caleb Davis was the general manager of a Mountain West team, is now a general manager of a Pac-12 team. Caleb, congratulations. I've been saying that about myself as a broadcaster too, which I feel pretty excited about. But heading into the Pac-12, how did that change, if it did, anything for you guys this offseason, having the name brand with it, having the schedule that you have coming up? What did that mean being in the Pac-12 heading into next season for the program?
Yeah, man, the move to the Pac-12 is just so huge for us, just from a branding national scope of getting eyes on the Aztecs every single Saturday. And a big piece of that is just the chance to compete for national championships, where we know more often than not, we win the Pac-12 championship, we're going to be playing the college football playoffs. And that piece is so key. But then even with the branding from the television deal, being USA Network, like there are so many households that are going to have access to Aztec football that, again, it's a game changer. It's a new branding approach, and it gives us the opportunity to really focus on creating the next dominant West Coast football program.
What is Chris Johnson, the fact that he gets taken the first round to the Miami Dolphins, what does that do for recruiting? I'd assume it would really help it, and that you get to pump out first round draft picks.
It's definitely huge, just him being a first rounder, but it's just a testament of who the kid is. And like the biggest impact we get from it is again, all the guys on the team, they saw how Chris went to work every single day. Like it's no surprise why he sits down in interview rooms with NFL GMs and NFL scouts, and why every single one would text us after like, holy cow, you got a special kid. It's like, yeah, he attacks all his work the right way. So the insight it gives into our program is great, but man, it's just so great for the kid. And it's just more proof of concept where if you stay, you've got a chance to be living out all your dreams, not just in the NFL, but as an NFL first round pick.
Caleb Davis, general manager for the Aztecs football team, joining us today ahead of the 2026 Aztecs football season. Now, Caleb, I want your thoughts on the quarterback room here because Stone Saunders stunned a little bit at the spring game, and he's a redshirt freshman and backup quarterback. Jaden Denegal is back this year, and that's kind of where I want to start. Jaden Denegal, a lot of people I don't think know how difficult of a season it was from him health-wise a year ago, but still kind of gutted it out throughout the whole year. What can we expect from Jaden this year if he is fully healthy heading into the season?
Yeah. Well, first off, Jaden's fully healthy, so that's a blessing. We're so happy because he's a kid who's never been injured in his life, and then 3 snaps into being the starter, his non-throwing shoulder pops out of place. So just throughout the year, he was getting injections to just be able to be healthy and play for us on Saturdays. So he didn't get to practice to the level that we would have liked for him to be able to. But my favorite thing about Jaden is the fact that he never used any of that as an excuse. He went out, had a heck of a season. And my other favorite thing is, his shoulder pops out of place, and the very next drive, he's trying to truck a defender with the same shoulder to get a first down. Like, that kid just displayed so much toughness, and to have some continuity at that position going into year 3 of the Sean Lewis era, but Jaden's second year here, that's so key because he's seen things, he's done it on Saturdays, and now it's just, really put the ball down and elevate into next year.
Is there a player that maybe Aztec fans aren't familiar with right now that you think is kind of going to become a household name in San Diego as the year goes on?
Shoot, I can name quite a few. We had a great spring ball. There's a dynamic kid that coming from Colorado State a year ago, Javion Chop Kennard, goes by Chop. He was dynamic for the season ticket holders. They got an inside look in the Snapdragon scrimmage. He was the one. Second play he was in there, took a 80-yard run to the house. So he's dynamic. He's a lot of fun. There's a linebacker that came over, local kid from Bosco from the Trinity League named Sione Hala. He spent some time at Boston College, went to Weber State, and is now here for his last season. But he's going to be a mainstay right next to Tano Lutuli in the linebacker room. But, we did a great job in the portal. But the other highlight was some of these local high school kids are really showing out for us. And again, I never expect for a freshman to come in and play right away, but even the Carson Deals from La Jolla, the Cam Purnells from Lincoln, like we were really, really blessed with some of the kids we were able to bring into the portal. And I think we're going to be able to know those names for years to come.
Yeah. Someone else, Derek Stevenson, a true freshman from Katy, Texas, could end up being a big piece of the team this year. We can't go any further without talking about Lucky Sutton, who is, I think, is this year 4 for Lucky in the Aztecs program? Maybe 3. I could be wrong on that. But a guy who's been a huge ambassador, obviously went to high school here in San Diego, one of the most experienced college football running backs in the country heading into this year. Caleb, what are you looking at for Lucky this year?
Lucky is the fact that this kid craves work. He craves getting better. Like the players are off here as their finals got finished up over last week, and I already know whether it's locally or whether it's with some NFL guys, he's already training and working to get better. This kid, like, we had to try to hold him out of practice because he wanted the contact. He wanted things like, no, Lucky, like, but we need you to stay healthy. So he's another example where, if Chris Johnson doesn't stay a year ago, I don't know if Lucky stays this year because he could have gone anywhere in the country being a 1,300-yard back and gotten paid a whole lot more money. But a local kid who loves this community and is San Diego Aztec through and through. Like, you can't put a price on what that means. So we love Lucky to death. I'm excited to see him continue to keep growing as a leader, but I'm really excited. He's gotten even a lot better this spring, and he's attacking all his deficiencies to make sure he's not just the best running back in the conference next year, but the best in the entire country.
I can't wait to see him play this year, man. I've loved watching his work ethic from the time he first stepped on the Mesa. And how about having Lucky on the offensive side, Tano on the defensive side, 2 great ambassadors for the program, 2 really, really great leaders for the program as well. Caleb, before we let you go, I'm curious, like, if you could almost take your general manager hat off for a second and look at the college football playoff as a fan, what do you think about if it potentially expands even further than the 12-team college football playoff? What are your thoughts on the thing as a whole and where it's going with college football?
The funny thing is I'm really indifferent in it as a whole. And I think a lot of that is from my experience of being at Cincinnati, where we built a playoff team when no one said a G6 team could make the playoffs. And then, going to Notre Dame, where people said, oh, yeah, you haven't been to a national championship, haven't won since 1988. And we got to break through. And did we get all the way there? No, but we were right there in the punch with the punch to try to win at the end. And now it's here, whether it's 12 team, whether it's 24 team, I think there's a lot of people in the country where it's like, man, can a Pac-12 team, get into the playoffs? Like, I'm not even focused on that. I'm focused on winning in the playoffs. Like, I think we've got a phenomenal culture, going into year 3 in the program. It's so exciting because year 1, you see, you got to build that culture, build that energy. Year 2, we took a step to really show the proof of concept that we have what it takes. Now, year 3, to just keep on elevating, whether it's a 12-team playoff, 24-team playoff, I don't care. All I know is when the Aztecs make it, whether it's this year or in the near future, we're not going to just take part. We're going to find ways to get wins and compete for national championships for years to come.
Obviously exciting with the Pac-12. Feel like definitely the competition's gonna up, but we did see with the basketball program and the importance of a non-conference schedule and being able to get in. If like the Mountain West this year was down in terms of basketball, does that change the way you schedule? If it's 24 teams, do you guys look to go out and get stiffer competition in the non-conference, or is it the other way where you just think you can win the Pac-12 and get in the playoff?
It's a great question that I think there's a lot of people kind of talking about how it could change. It definitely could change some things. Now, I think that's one of the other really, really cool things about the Pac-12 is we've got some leadership that are truly visionary with our flex week at the end of the season, where essentially like that's a week that helps align the Pac-12 with the playoffs. That whether it ends up being a second game against the team up north, or it ends up being another game against one of the other opponents, whatever sets us up better for the playoffs. The Pac-12 is really visionary as a conference to give us the best shot to where, again, 2-3 years from now, all I know is we've got great leadership that's going to help guide the way to help us get to the playoffs every single year.
Counting down the days, man. September 5th, Snapdragon Stadium, San Diego State, Portland State. Cannot wait for it. GoAztecs.com. I know season tickets did go on a bit of a discount over the last few weeks. You can check them all out there. Caleb, pleasure talking to you, man. Can't wait to see you again out at Snappy, and we'll talk soon.
Man, I appreciate you guys for having me on. Get your season tickets and come support because we're fired up for this year.
Get your season tickets now. It was a great year last year. Looking to expand on it this year into a new conference. And like you said, man, win the Pac-12. You got a pretty good shot at being in the college football playoff. All right, quick break here. Long shots on the other side. We're not talking about yesterday's long shots at all. At all. Winner on Monday. Not talking about Tuesday. Back to it on Wednesday. Let's get after it next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long, with you till 2 o'clock today. Sammy will take over after that for an hour. Schaefer and Sleetwell will be your drive home. We also have 9 chances every single day for you to win $1,000. Keep listening for the nationwide keyword. Enter it at sportssd.com. Your next chance to win $1,000 coming up soon here on San Diego Sports 760. 858 says Padres no run first inning tonight. Get it in long shots. Sammy's heating up for real on his morning tennis picks. And even Medvedev yesterday wasn't.
Shout out to the 858. 858. Rude won in three sets over Kachanov. Had that
rude.
Unfortunately, last night. So I believe the Minnesota.
We weren't talking about it.
No, we got to be honest with the people. They put money on it. Rich called me out. I appreciate it. Listen, I went against the Spurs. I thought Ant-Man had something. And the Ducks going to OT.
Quack, quack.
That damn Dorothea, man. Jack Eichel turnover on their own, in their own zone. OT, excellent game last night. But yeah, we got to get a little get back today.
There's a number from the 619, our listener Brian, who always sends incredible texts. I'm gonna skip through the stats and get to the thing that I think is fascinating about the text. He says, a personal observation is it seems there are less player/coach ejections in baseball this year so far because they don't have to yell at the ump. They can just challenge, which makes the game a bit more boring. From Brian.
That's interesting.
We haven't seen as many like bubblegum swapping arguments with managers and umpires this year. And I don't even know that I was aware it was missing from the game as much as it has been. But Brian, that is an excellent point. And that is part of baseball that seems to have left a little bit without people just having to yell at umps for ball strikes calls and being able to tap the helmet immediately.
Yeah, it is. It does. It adds something with the crowd, I think.
Well, it is like it's a game of Jeopardy every time. I like it when they show it up on the Jumbotron. I think it's fun.
I think it's fun. And it really, I mean, what do they always say in baseball? The hardest 3 outs, the final 3 outs. It puts even more pressure on that because if you have an ABS challenge, the last pitch of the game is unless it's, pop up or something, is always going to be challenged, but I think it's fun.
All right. Let's get to long shots for today. We got a lot of baseball in action today. We got an excellent game 5 between Cleveland and Detroit tonight. Tennis is going on as we speak. Sammy, smash.
You looking for some luck? Want to win big? Gotta play big.
You are so money and you don't even know it.
Time to take a chance.
Pay that man his money.
With long shots.
Yannick Sinner tomorrow morning, 4 a.m.
That's where we're starting.
Hell yeah, brother.
Taking on Andrei Rublev. Rublev, 12th ranked player in the world. Now, he's a massive favorite, Sinner. So there's no money in the money line. Here's where we're going. If you're on Kalshi, under 18.5 games. That means Sinner gets him in 2 sets. Here's why. Sinner has beat him, Rublev. He's played him 10 times. Won 7-3. Now, in 2 of Rublev's wins have come via retirement. So in one of those, that was his only clay court win, was when Sinner had to retire early. Look, Andrei Rublev, he has a very good first serve, but he's not a great defensive player. He usually gets a lot of guys. He's an overpowering serve, except here's the problem. When you're playing Yannick Sinner's maybe the best defensive returner in all of tennis. His ELO percentage is number 1 on clay. He's getting ready to go for Roland Garros. I think Sinner mops him. I think we're headed for a Medvedev Sinner final in Rome the week before Roland Garros, which would be very fun. I like under 18.5 games. I think Sinner wins it in straight sets, but the only way to get a little value is under 18.5 games.
For just 1 second, can I interject real quick? Because I want to tell you how impressed I am with you, Sammy. You're breaking down Andrei Rublev's first serves right now on May 13th on a Wednesday.
Hey,
how much of a degenerate do you have to be to know Andrei Rublev's first serve? He's a freaking 9-1 underdog today.
Yeah. His first serve percentage. He's a great listen. We got to find something to talk about. The NFL season writes itself.
My guy watches every second of every NBA game, figures out a way to watch most of the hockey games, and is breaking down Andrei Rublev, who you could have told me he was a Russian scientist last night, and I would have believed you.
This pick better come through. Yannick Sinner, Andrei Rublev, under 18.5 games, final little value there. It's going off at -143. All right. Cubbies and the Braves going to a little baseball today. I like the over 8.5 runs. Now, the Braves been playing some damn good baseball. The Dodgers actually got to Chris Sale on Friday. Kind of thought they were going to take advantage of that series. They did not. The Braves crush them on Saturday and Sunday. Get a win yesterday against the Cubs. Shota Imanaga is on the mound, who has had a good season for the Cubbies, except the Braves have good long ball hitters. And that has been what Imanaga has struggled with the most, is he is susceptible to the long ball. And J.R. Ritchie's toward the back end of the rotation for the Braves. The Cubs are too talented to not respond today. These are two of the hottest teams in all of baseball, and particularly in the NL. I think the Cubs bats respond today, and I think the Braves hit a few homers off Imanaga. So over 8.5 runs in that game, Cubs Braves. All right, we're heading to the association. Cavs Pistons. Now, interesting series so far. So the Detroit wins games 1 and 2, looking like they're gonna maybe sweep the Cavs. Cavs go back to Cleveland and win the next 2 games. JB Bickerstaff, after game 4, made a big stink about how the refs are changing the whistle. They're not getting calls anymore. He's doing what JJ Redick did. He's trying to instill a thing, as this goes back to Detroit, that they're getting called for too many fouls. The Pistons want to play like the Thunder and Oklahoma and San Antonio, where they want to beat you up physically. They're going to foul you. They're going to give you some fouls early, but they know the refs can't call it all game, so they're going to get away with some stuff. That playing into the refs' mind, I like the under 211.5. Donovan Mitchell has gone off in the last 2 games, 39 points in the second half, which is a playoff record, I believe, in game 4. In Detroit, Detroit needs to win this game. I'm not sure I'm laying the 4.5, but under 211.5. I think this is a all defensive battle in Detroit. They're going to get away with some more stuff. And I think the bigs of Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley are not going to be able to dominate Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart in Detroit. So I like the under 211.5.
If you missed any of that, we will recap it as soon as the next hour starts, because I just got breaking news, Sammy. What? We have to give away Russell Dickerson tickets right now, because I said we would do it in the first hour. So if you would like a pair of tickets to go see Russell Dickerson on May 21st at Gallagher Square at Petco Park, you can call right now, or you can go to Ticketmaster.com. But if you want them for free, call 877-767-4760. Sammy is going to pick up caller number 8, and you are going to go to the concert for free. It's San Diego Sports 760. Hour 2 is coming up next, live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Unbound.org. Michael King be on the mound for the Padres today as they take on the Brewers in Game 2. Jacob Mizorowski will be pitching for the Brewers. That game will be at 4:40. SDFC tonight taking on Austin FC. That game will be at 6:30 right here on San Diego Sports 760. And the NFL is confirmed on Thanksgiving Eve they will be having a game, and that will be the Packers and the Rams. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice: continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. Change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at unbound.org.
I'm Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
I'm excited about it. It brings a lot of people together.
Now, live from the East Set Studios of San Diego Sports 760, we go in the zone with Fletch and Sammy.
It's hour number 2 here on San Diego Sports 760. It's the zone. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you till 2 o'clock. Sammy will keep it rolling after that from 2 to 3. Schaefer and Sliwa will be your afternoon drive home. So we got into this conversation a little bit in hour number 1 and then got cut off. But I do want to continue it here because last night I was doing some reading sitting on my couch while I was watching some Spurs, some Padres. I had a couple TVs going last night because I had the house to myself, elite. But while I was sitting there, I was reading some stuff about the Major League Baseball Players Association and the Major League Baseball owners and kind of the different directions that this dispute could go between the two sides. And it is fascinating when you see guys like Jeff Passan talk about the fact that this could lead to a freeze or it could lead to better negotiations because of how far they are right now. They want to really work hard together to make sure that there's baseball being played in 2027. And bright side, yeah, it's a good thing they're sitting down right now because December 1st or December 31st isn't that far away. And we can all sort of feel that, right? But on the downside, we've been talking about this for a year. Like people have been assuming and warning that baseball could be heading for another lockout for well over a year. And like 2027 has been circled for a while. And while baseball has made all these great strides, the one place they haven't made great strides are getting anywhere closer between the MLB owners and the MLB players. And at this point, I don't even know if I have heavier blame on one side or the other. I just know that there's two bad words when it comes to the Players Baseball Association. They don't want salary cap. They want everything to stay the same. And there's words that the owners are speaking right now where they're saying they need a salary cap. And it feels like they're so far apart and no one's gotten any closer over the last year that we've been talking about this. And it does feel like we're heading for a bit of a disaster. And I just hope that at some point over the next few months, we can come together a little bit and find something that makes both sides a little bit happy, because what is a compromise? Neither side truly wins, but something gets done. We need that.
I agree. The most frustrating part of all this is that the fans and players have two very different goals, and the owners. Like if you take all three of them, the owners want to save money because they're like, I'm tired of giving $300 million deals to 19-year-olds who have never played before, but are supposed to be great players. And like that's what they're tired of. The players, and they're tired of it could be their own fault of losing to the Dodgers or losing out on free agents to the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Cubs or big teams like that. Now, part of that's their fault because a lot of these owners are rich. They just don't want to spend like the Dodgers. And that gets into the whole conversation of why there should be a baseball floor, just like there should be a salary cap. The players have a different motive. The players don't give a F. Like that's what they've shown. The players are like, yeah, we want to beat the Dodgers. We do. But if it comes at the cost of me getting another $100 million, yeah, I'll see if we can just outperform them.
Which I don't know if I can blame them for.
No.
Money's money, man.
If you didn't have a salary cap, why would you want one? So, but this is where players can't speak out of both ends of their mouth. Manny Machado, Bryce Harper, to their credit, some of the stars of the league have been like, yeah, like, you know, credit to the Dodgers for spending money and just acquiring good players. Now, what comes with that is if you lose to the Dodgers or the Yankees or one of these teams, what doesn't work, which is where Dodger fans have a bit of a point of you can't speak out of both sides of your mouth. You can't talk about how, oh, it's unfair that they spent all this money, but then when it comes to being at the table, then we don't want a salary cap because we want to make more money. And the fans have a different perspective because the fans, all of us sitting here are like, yeah, it'd be more fun if there was a salary cap like the NFL, like the NBA, like these other organizations, and there was a salary floor, so it would even the balance of the league and it wouldn't be so top heavy. So it's weird how all three groups have very different motives for what they want. And I just, with MLB, the players having so much power, I don't know where they're going to get with this.
And are the fans the only one that want baseball? Like it does feel like the fans are the only one who just want baseball to be played. All right, I'll leave you with this before we get to the big three here. This was in a part of the ESPN article that kind of broke down what went down yesterday. Jeff Passan says this: will the diametrically opposed viewpoints lead to feelings of disillusionment and allegations of not bargaining in good faith, or will they jumpstart progress that is badly needed? What that tells me is you want more news coming out about meetings between the Players Association and the ownership meeting and the ownership groups, like more now, like within the next few weeks. You want more talks to happen, because once they stop talking, nothing's getting done. And last time we went through this was what, 2021, 2020, somewhere in there. And the owners just stopped talking and didn't restart negotiations until like August. So what can we get done in the next few weeks, the next couple of months, to make sure that by December it's coming around? Maybe not both sides are happy, but at least there's going to be baseball being played. We will see. Let's get to the big three here of hour number 2. Tony Sanchez is going to be joining us at 1:15 to give us a preview of SDFC and Austin FC coming up tonight here on 760. Can't wait for that. Sammy, smash.
Your lunch break is here. Ready to go back to the office and knock the socks off your friends? I mean, coworkers? It's time for the top stories of the day. The Big Three.
I think I've said both today. December 1st is the day that the CBA expires. December 1st at 11:59 p.m. Not December 31st. I apologize. Sammy, where we go?
All right, the NBA has gotten some criticism in the postseason. There's been an 11% uptick in foul calls. Now, we know there's a big narrative surrounding SGA.
There's been a 55% uptick in physical play.
Do you think it's been egregious this postseason?
I really don't. I think so. That number comes out every year. There are less fouls called, it seems like, in the postseason because there's more foul-worthy plays in the postseason. I think during the regular season, oftentimes defense does get a little bit lax, especially in the first 3 quarters. You don't see really tough defense until the 4th quarter. In the playoffs, it's from possession 1. And these are some of the biggest, strongest basketball players on the planet. So, yeah, they are going to run into each other a little bit more when everyone's flying around 100 miles an hour. I think the cause for the whistle uptick is more because of how much more physical the game is during the postseason than it is the refs actually calling more fouls. There's more fouls that could be called in the postseason is where I'm at.
Yeah, it gets blown out of proportion. Look, fan bases get upset when their team loses, so you go to fouls. The NBA, like this whole nonsense, people think like, oh, they're rigging it for like this is ridiculous. Like it's just you can't even argue with that because it's so dumb. But when you get to like in terms of SGA, what the league does have to figure out is the flopping issue, because we've seen this is where when JJ Redick said last week, not that the Lakers were winning the series against Oklahoma City either way, but he said that LeBron maybe has the worst whistle of any star he's ever seen comes into play. It's like the more physical you are as a player, like Cade Cunningham downhill, LeBron downhill, like players that are strong can get hacked and they don't really call it. Whereas a player like SGA gets such criticism for the way he plays. He's tiny. So
he's flimsy.
And so understandably, as he probably should, because he gets foul calls, throws his body when he gets in the paint, it looks like he got hacked. There has to be, certain players. Chris Webber was on Rich Eisen today and was talking about how the league has to get with officials and recognize that. Like there has to be we're recognizing the egregious flopping because it would take some of it out. We've seen like SGA, James Harden, guys that are known for doing this, haven't had great postseasons. Yeah, SGA, they're undefeated, but a lot of that is due to the fact that Oklahoma City is just that good. So I don't think it's that big of a deal. The physical plays up, but the flopping thing, you definitely do have to kind of get with the refs and figure out.
Who next?
All right. So couple big stories out of college football. So 2014 college football playoff model. We talked about this with Caleb Davis earlier. So if you're not familiar with this, the Big Ten proposed it. 2014 playoff model, 23 teams. There would still only be one spot for a non-power 4 team, which is kind of caused some criticism. The ACC supports the 2014 college football playoff model and said it gives, quote, hope to all teams. Another story out of college football, USC and Notre Dame, there was a lot of drama about the fact that rivalry would not continue. Well, now Notre Dame has come back to the table, wants to make the rivalry happen and kind of meet all of USC's requests of playing the game earlier in the year. Like off the jump, I'm kind of curious why Notre Dame would do that with a 2014 playoff when it's going to be even easier for Notre Dame to get in just playing their kind of sorry schedule. But, you know, they're Notre Dame and they get big time recruits and they're probably going to go undefeated or have one loss and get in the 2014 playoff. But do you think what the ACC said is that it gives hope to all teams? Fair
In a sense. It gives hope to all Power 4 teams, right? And it does. And if you have a good enough year, you should be able to crack a 2014 postseason. I don't love the expansion with just one group of 5 team. I think it should be more on an honor merit, right? It should be if you have, because we have so many advanced analytics now, like if you're good enough to get in, you should get in. The Notre Dame USC thing is fascinating to me. It really is. And I would actually give Notre Dame a ton of credit if they take the game because, well, A, they're going to get a big fat check if they take the game. But B, it shows them they're thinking, even if it is a close game, even if it's not great for the analytics, even if they take a loss in that, they still probably get in the 2014 playoff. That's what it's telling me.
Right. Notre Dame knows that. And to be fair, why that rivalry almost went away was because USC was going, and USC drew a lot of criticism from our own very own Petros Papadakis, former USC captain, crushed the school for not continuing the rivalry. But USC was like thinking, why do I want to go play a tough game in Notre Dame when I already play in the Big Ten and I'm playing Ohio State, Michigan, Oregon, India? I'm playing.
And who's Notre Dame playing?
The nobody.
Exactly.
So they need SC. They need a ranked opponent on their schedule that they can point to and get a win against.
All right, we're going to get out of here because Tony Sanchez is coming up next. Full preview of tonight's action between SDFC and Austin FC. That'll get on the air tonight at 6 o'clock with Darren Smith and Adrian Garcia Marquez. Right after Tony Sanchez, we're going to be talking about the newly released NFL games all over the world. The NFL's in Paris, y'all, for the first time ever. That's pretty fun. All right, Tony Sanchez coming up next. San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Everyone hear that keyword? Rich, RICH. Take that over to sportssd.com. That's your nationwide keyword, and that's your chance to win $1,000. Your next chance will come up in the 2:00 hour today. If you want to win $1,000, take that nationwide keyword rich and enter it at sportssd.com. Next chance to win coming up on Sammy's show. Go along with Sammy at 2:00. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you. We got Tony Sanchez on the line. He's the host of Two Balls and a Mic, as well as the Chromaniacs. Now SDFC, Tony, on a run of draws here, the last two matches. Can they get over the hump tonight? How do they match up with Austin FC?
Well, thank you once again for having me, guys. Well, in terms of what's going to happen tonight, it's going to be a battle for the last playoff spot, but there's a lot of time left right now. These two teams are kind of marauding around and just finding their identity for San Diego FC. It's been a rough patch. However, they are taking those baby steps to start adding, getting positive yardage, getting positive points. A draw does yield 1 point here. So they've drawn in the last two games, but they've drawn in heartbreaking fashion. And so that's what San Diego FC needs to focus on, being able to have a full 90 minutes and being able to attack, and not lose that momentum.
What do you think is the biggest difference between year one and year two? Like Darren Smith has talked so much about how, they kind of became the from the hunted to the hunter, or hunters to the hunted. Do you think that has played into that this year, or like what's been the biggest change?
They did have a very intense beginning of the season where instead of the 6 weeks that they had for vacation, the players were recalled 3 weeks prior to their original return time. And they went into a very intense tournament, not MLS, but an international tournament that put them against Mexican teams. They did relatively well in that, but then you start to redline some of these players, the fitness, the energy exhausted that the players had just essentially caught up to them. And that led to a lot of injuries. And you also build that inconsistency with a lot of red cards. You really haven't had the best version of San Diego FC on the field this year. And you add to there that you're adding different pieces that you'd had last year. With last year, obviously having a player like Chucky Lozano, you were still able to put together a good run of form. But at the end of the day, there hasn't been that consistent aspect for an 11 on the field. And San Diego FC thrives on that. And right now, their captain, number 6, Yepes Verskov in the midfield, he's going to be out until after the World Cup. And so now you're just trying to see who that next man up is. And the person who stepped up is number 20, Aníbal Godoy, who is the captain of the Panamanian national team.
Yeah, we loved Aníbal Godoy, especially last year. It seems like he plays with a crazy intensity, man. He's got crazy eyes. I really enjoy watching him play. Tony Sanchez on with us now, covering SDFC. They're back at Snapdragon Stadium tonight. They got Austin FC. Our pre-match coverage with Darren and Adrian will begin at 6:00. Tony, ever since we had Marcus Ingvartson on the show, he just keeps scoring goals. How good is he playing here in 2026?
Well, I mean, Marcus Ingvartson was supposed to be the backbone of the tip of the spear of the attack for San Diego State all of last year, but he had a lingering injury that just kept him out. And now as he's coming back into this form, he understands perfectly the way of playing of San Diego FC, that right to dream style based on their academy. He also comes from the FC Northland family, who plays exactly the same as what San Diego FC is trying to do. And he's found success, not just with the goals, but he's been able to go ahead and be in important spaces. And again, if you're kind of watching and trying to get into soccer a little bit and get those extra moments to learn the game and just how it's played, look for those players when they don't have the ball. Look for number 7 and Marcus Ingvartson up top and see what he does. And he pulls defenders over to the side, creating lanes for his teammates in order to attack better. And so a lot of the successes are having to do with the way that he moves when he doesn't have the ball. But then when he is on the ball, he's been absolutely lethal. And at this point, he just needs a little bit more help in order to make sure that these ties convert into wins and to victories.
Chucky Lozano left off the World Cup squad for Mexico, or at least the provisional squad right now. Where are you at with this whole situation? Because so many fans have called for him to be playing. It seems like, the relationship between him and SDFC is so fractured. Like when do you think this gets resolved and what happens?
So in terms of resolve, both parties will have an opportunity here during the summer transfer window. When the summer transfer window opens, that means the international markets are open and players are free to go ahead and negotiate to go ahead and go to other teams internationally or here in MLS. And so I think after the World Cup break is over into the summer break, San Diego FC and Chucky Lozano should find a solution for this situation, whether it's finding another team for him or whether it's paying him out and paying that guaranteed money just so you clear out a designated player spot that Chucky Lozano is taking. That's going to be the next step to see how San Diego FC is able to bounce back with a player of the caliber or similar caliber to Chucky Lozano to be able to come in and help the GP that's here in Honors Dreyer, who isn't necessarily looking like the same player as he was last year, although the numbers are comparable. But there's definitely a need to go ahead and have Honors Dreyer get some help on the other wing on the left side.
It's San Diego Sports 760. We are your home for SDFC here in San Diego. You can buy tickets for tonight's match at sandiegofc.com. You can listen to the game here on 760 beginning at 6 o'clock tonight with Darren and Adrian Garcia Marquez. We got Tony Sanchez on the line. Tony Sanchez covering the club for his own podcast, Two Balls and a Mic, and the Chromaniacs as well, doing a great job covering the squad. But Tony, I do want to talk to you a little bit about Team USA, the men's national team. We're heading into the World Cup this year. I don't think that Team USA necessarily has high hopes to win the damn thing, but what would you say is considered success for Team USA entering into the World Cup this year? Is it just knockout stage, or do they need to get a win?
They do have to go into the playoffs in order to make sure that they have a successful World Cup. And, the U.S. has made it into the semifinals. I mean, we're talking about years ago, decades ago, but they've made it further than Mexico ever has. And actually in 2002, the U.S. eliminated Mexico in order to go into the quarterfinal. So the ceiling, at least for Mexico, is definitely a little bit different. But looking at that Group D stage with Paraguay, Australia, and Turkey, they should be able to go ahead and be first place in that group stage and go ahead and move forward. But I think if you're looking at 4 to 5 games total for the World Cup for Team USA, that's going to be a success. But overall, it's the impact of what this does for the future generations in order to go ahead and have those future generations inspired and want to go into soccer and maybe have that as it did in 1996, where you have a lot of the kids that saw the World Cup here in the U.S. back then. Now they're that generation that are playing in this World Cup. And so just on a macro level, that's going to be huge. But for Team USA, winning it probably may not be in the cards, but at least to have a really good run, they should be able to make at least 2 playoffs pushes for 2 games at least.
Who do you see as the favorites? Spain came in as the favorites, and Lamine Yamal might not be playing in it. Like, do we see Argentina maybe repeating? I know France is up there in odds. Who would be your pick right now?
Yeah, I mean, looking over at Spain, the current European champions over there, they have a tremendous squad. They have a philosophy of playing, and they're absolutely dynamic. If the modern football is to be copied and pasted, it's whatever Spain is doing on a national level. France also has those pieces and that youth, as well as experience with Kylian Mbappe leading and being second place to Lionel Messi in the last World Cup in Qatar. But for Argentina, it's going to be tough. Once again, repeating on that stage as well. And I think for Argentina, and they're kind of on that same level potentially as a Portugal. So look for a potential storyline ending of some of everybody's heroes. World Cup has a lot of heroes that are retiring, and this is their last run. Looking at Lionel Messi, looking at Cristiano Ronaldo, and I mean, even for Mexico, Guillermo Ochoa in the goalkeeping position. So it's going to be a very interesting World Cup, but I do think right now Spain is slated to be top dog right now.
Tony, what do you got for a score prediction for tonight? San Diego FC, Austin FC.
For today, I think San Diego FC is going to go ahead and tie once again, get another point on the column, and trying to go ahead and beat the teams that they should. But until further notice, until we see further data, I think right now, if they accumulate another point, it's going to be a positive aspect. But I know the fan base wants to see those wins, especially with it being so close to that World Cup break.
Follow him, the Chromaniacs, as well as Two Balls and a Mic. Tony Sanchez breaking it down for us today. Thank you, Tony. Appreciate your time, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much.
Tony Sanchez. He's the man, dude. Love Tony. All right, quick break here. On the other side, the NFL has released more games. Let's get into them on the other side, as well as one of the funniest texts we have ever received in the history of this show will be read, even though Sammy doesn't want to. Coming up next at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
This was sponsored by Summit Racing Equipment. Padres taking on the Brewers. Game 2 today. Game is at 4:40. Jacob the Miz Mizorowski will be going for Milwaukee, while Michael King will be going for the Padres. SDFC taking on Austin FC tonight at 6:30. That game here, right here on San Diego Sports 760. And then we got some basketball tonight. Cavs taking on Detroit. Series flips back to Detroit. Detroit is a 4.5 point favorite in that one. Summit Racing has the parts Tools and accessories to keep your ride summer road trip ready. You'll find everything for pre-trip maintenance and essentials like emergency roadside kits. Shop summitracing.com and enroll in the rewards program to get more power in every purchase.
San Diego Sports 760, Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long with you for the next 30 minutes. A big congratulations. Who was our winner earlier today, Sammy? I put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
I completely am drawing a blank right now.
Whoever won those Russell Dickerson tickets
right now.
Congratulations.
Oh, Gabe. How did I forget Gabe?
Gabe, thank you for listening, brother. And congratulations and enjoy the show. We'll have more tickets coming up on the show tomorrow. Sorry, Sammy. I put you on the spot there.
No,
all right. Something Sammy and I both care very, very much about is the game of craps.
Oh, yeah.
Some internet man did the work for us, Sammy.
Ooh, we got some new plays at the
official casino craps dice on an official casino craps board. He rolled the dice 10,473 times and charted his results. Overwhelmingly, 7 came up more than any other number, which is bad.
Well, yeah, that's because it's the most possible ways.
Right. But so 1,727 times it was a 7, 1,478, it was a 6, 1,441, it was an 8.
What numbers do you, when you're at the table, do you bet? Like just not like, oh, this guy's rolling, he or she's rolling a certain number, so I'm going to drop money on it. What's a number you're like, yeah.
Dude, I love me and Nina. 9. I really do I stack up the 9 a lot. But the shocking one to me is that the extremes hardly ever hit. So out of 10,473 times, Snake Eyes was rolled 304 times and a 12 was rolled 362 times. I thought it would have been a little more than that. I feel like I usually am good for one Snake Eyes roll on the craps table.
Yeah, Snake Eyes. I love craps, man.
It's so much fun. When you got a group of buddies and everyone's drinking and having a good time, there's nothing better than playing some craps.
I hate craps because you can win money fast. Like,
oh yeah, and if you can bankroll a little bit, you're playing with the casino's money and not your money, which is even better.
And then someone gets on a heater. The table, it's communal. I love me some blackjack. I actually had a lot more success in playing blackjack last time I was a couple weeks ago in Vegas versus craps, but blackjack is funny because you can win a bunch of money and the person next to you is just getting cleaned out. So it's an odd dynamic at the table.
Don't be the guy that celebrates on non-table wins is all I'm saying. 858 texted in and we were talking about all the new international games added to the NFL slate, including the first ever game in Paris. It's going to be the Steelers. And who are the Steelers playing against in Paris, Sammy?
Who are they playing against in Paris? I didn't know that got announced.
Yes, it got announced. Hang on. Steelers are playing against the Saints in Paris. I have it right here. And
that's an odd game to put in Paris.
Our texter from the 858 said, I just heard Jay-Z and Kanye West are trying to start the first ever European NFL team in Paris. Very funny text if you know the music. All right, let's go through the games, shall we? We knew about Niners Rams in Melbourne. We did not know that in week 3, Ravens and Cowboys will be the teams playing in Rio de Janeiro. Good game. Colts Commanders playing in London. Eagles Jags in London in week 5. Week 6 is going to be Texans Jags. That's the 2-week stay for the Jaguars in London this year. Week 7 is going to be Steelers Saints in Paris. Week 9 is Bengals Falcons in Madrid. Week 10 Patriots Lions in Munich, and week 11 Vikings 49ers in Mexico City. A lot of people thought it was going to be Niners Cardinals. Those are the 2 biggest fan bases down in Mexico City. I was a little surprised today when I saw
how many Vikings fans are going to be down?
I thought that at first too, but Kendall has a bunch of family who lives out that way, and her brother-in-law is from out that way, is from Minnesota, and his family owned a place down in Mexico. Now, not close to Mexico City, but a lot of the snowbirds do make their way down to Mexico, so maybe there's more Vikings fans than we think. But I doubt it.
Well, I think it'll be packed.
It's a Niners home game.
Of course. Do you like the international games? Do you like what the NFL is doing?
I don't dislike them. I don't love them. I think for the Niners to have 2 of them this year and travel more miles than any team in NFL history, that pisses me off. And I do think that is a disadvantage for the 49ers. What I like about them selfishly is I like waking up at 6 a.m. on Sunday morning and having NFL on the TV while I eat my cereal. I think that's fantastic. I get NFL from the time I open my eyes till the time I close my eyes on those Sundays. So I'm here for that. If you're a fan of a team and there is an international game, I do think it's a disadvantage for you the week prior and the week after.
I'm curious when we get the London team because they're setting it up.
Well, there's 3 straight weeks of London games this year.
I mean, London's already now a staple in the schedule. It went from having 1 London game to now London gets the most games, right? We saw Dublin last year. We're seeing Paris, Mexico City, Rio de Janeiro. I mean, we're seeing all over the globe. I'm curious when they try it and if it's feasible.
Well, and if it is, like, say they add 2 teams, is one in London, one in Mexico City, like rather than going to 2 U.S. cities, is that it?
Well, I think if you're gonna try it, I think it would almost be easier to build a division that's European.
Oh, I hate that.
So no, but the travel logistics, because teams are concerned.
I see what you're saying, but I hate it.
Teams are like, I don't want to travel to if I'm the LA Rams, I don't want to travel to London and then I'm coming back to LA and then I'm going to New York next week. I think if you did a division where you made it all like London, I don't know, Paris, like you made it like a European division and you had them for 6 straight weeks play all the division games, then you would block off some travel and then these teams would just be overseas in America when they played their schedule.
All right, but they get treated the same as it gets to playoff time? Like, I don't know. And then having a playoff game overseas, that seems outrageous to me. That seems insane.
I'm not saying I would do it. I'm just saying the NFL is clearly setting it up that's what's going to happen.
Probably. Look, the Broncos were a freaking game away from the Super Bowl last year. We saw them play in Europe last year against the Jets. They looked awful.
They won 13-11.
Awful game. One of the worst football games of the season. You can't tell me that travel didn't have a little bit to do with that. Like, you don't see the best of either team when they're playing overseas. That's just a fact. But the NFL wants to expand. They want to get the same viewership that basketball and baseball have overseas. So this is their way, their strategy of doing it. And I don't love it because I don't think we get the best football possible. I do like it because we get early start times. That's where I'm at.
I wonder like how feasible, because they had the NFL Europe, which was a developmental league like 20 years ago, 20, 30 years ago. Failure. I do think if you rebranded it and tried to make, like, you hear about the XFL and the UFL and all these other leagues that try to start.
Oh, we talking some Battlehawks right now?
Like if they actually made it a feeder league that was playing opposite the NFL, and it was actually like we saw legit draft picks playing in them, or we saw it like replacing Senior Bowls, things like that, I think it could be something.
So what, it'd be like an off-season NFL calendar for rookie draft picks?
Yes, for guys like now, how many guys would actually play in it? But I think that if you made it a pure developmental league right to the NFL, that could work.
Yeah, I mean, the injury risk would be the first probably no to that, right? Teams don't.
Right, they sit out bowl games. Guys sit out bowl games in their college.
So I don't know what the future of the NFL looks like. I could look at you in your eyes right now and honestly say I don't think that the baseball is going to start on time next year. I have no idea what the future of the NFL looks like with expansion. I have a feeling we're probably going to get 2 more teams added pretty soon here.
Well,
why wouldn't they expand? They're making money hand over fist. 2 more teams to go along with another 2 weeks of NFL football. Like, I think that's coming down the pike pretty soon here. I just don't know where they'd be.
Well, and you would think that the more reasonable way to do it would be to give a team to Canada. Like we see in the NBA, they have the Raptors, they have the Blue Jays. I'm just saying.
Yeah, Canada.
Because at least you don't have to travel in Mexico. Then you could have just geographically, it's in North America. I think you could more easily convince, but like,
man, with Iceman coming out, Sammy just wants to make it so Drake is a fan of an NFL team. That's all he cares about.
I'm not a Toronto fanboy. What are you talking about?
858, put the Jags or the Chargers, or put the Jags and the Chargers in London. Then they play 2 weeks in London, 2 weeks in America throughout the regular season.
Yeah. See, I think like
would Dino take that deal? Probably, if you'd have to pay $1 in rent up in London.
Dean will do anything that makes him quote money, no matter how many people it pisses off.
Jerry Jones says, "Hey Dean, I'm going to need you in London." He says, "Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir."
Can you imagine some farm boy playing offensive line for Alabama, Tuscaloosa?
They're like drafted to London.
You're going to the London Jaguars.
Oh, it'd be
what
insane.
In the hell is happening?
The thing that is wild to me, because like the stadiums they play in overseas are historic venues, right? And there are
Wembley's
people,
huge soccer venues hold like hundreds of thousands of people.
Right. And like the stadium in London, people wish their whole life who live overseas to just be able to walk maybe on that turf at one point in their life. Like that would be a lifetime achievement for them. NFL players go over there. They're like, and I'm gonna run into you really hard on this pavement real quick.
Is this MetLife?
Yeah, like, exactly.
Yeah.
If you talk to Rich played in London one of his years with the Patriots.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he went over there. He did the whole week. He said it was awesome. But he was like, "Yeah, I didn't even think about the fact that I'm at Wembley. Like, who cares? What Wembley?
Right. Wembley doesn't mean anything to anyone in America. But they, because the real test for the NFL, if you were testing a team in London, how many? Because they sell well. These games do sell out.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of it. But how much of that is, to your point? I'm a Vikings fan. I live in Minnesota. Always wanted to go to Europe. I'm wrapping it a trip around my favorite NFL team.
I was looking at flights to Mexico City this morning.
Right.
Like, my buddies and I are planning a group text, seeing if we could possibly get down there to go watch the Niners and Vikings play.
How much, like if England had a team, how many local, Londoners, England, whatever.
Yeah.
Are just going to games.
The people whose tea we threw into the harbor. That's who you're trying to refer to, Sammy. I really don't know the answer to it. The NFL's doing something, and we're going to find out in a few years, and it's going to make money hand over fist. That's what's going to happen because the NFL just keeps on rolling. All right, Padres are facing against a kid who throws 100 miles an hour over 6 innings of work. We'll talk about it on the other side. His name's The Miz. San Diego Sports 760. You're listening live on the iHeartRadio app. Do you want to win $100,000? Do you want to win a share of $100,000? Then get your booty out to Valley View Casino and Hotel for the 100,000 Great Big Cash giveaway happening this Saturday, May 16th. You could be one of 500 guests to win your share of $100,000 in cash. And all you have to do is play your favorite slots or table games. They got the brand new Wheel of Fortune cash on reels. They got 1 million slot machines. Actually, I think the number's like 2,500 slot machines at Valley View Casino and Hotel. But anything you're into, whether it's Dragon Link, whether it's Wheel of Fortune, whether it's the new Spooky Link games, get on out to the Valley View Casino and Hotel. Be there on May 16th from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. for your chance to win a share of $100,000. While you're there, don't forget to join the Players Club. That is how you sign up to win the Great Big Cash giveaway. And right now, when you join the Players Club, you're getting over $200 in free offers to use at San Diego's favorite casino. We're talking about free offers to enjoy instantly. $200 worth of them, including $10 of more play, which is free slot play, $10 of match play, $20 to the Black and Blue Steakhouse, $10 to Patties and Pints, which is home to the Austin Burger, one of my favorite burgers in all of San Diego. Get on out to Valley View Casino and Hotel. The more you use that Players Club card on all your favorite slots or table games, the more rewards you're going to earn. So don't miss out. Get out to the Valley View Casino and Hotel for the $100,000 Great Big Cash giveaway. All guests 21 and over are invited to enjoy the casino, hotel, and restaurants. To learn more, visit valleyviewcasino.com. There's a text that needs clarifying. It's San Diego Sports 760. My name is Ben Fletcher. That's Sammy Long.
SoCal Jayhawk is calling me out.
SoCal Jayhawk texts into the show and says, shout out to 1776. I was curious what that meant. I thought we were talking, like, because I made a Boston Tea Party reference when we were talking about having the Jags and the Chargers potentially in London. And Sammy let me know it was something different. What happened, Sammy?
So the crossover at 245 I do with Slee and Schaefer every day.
Sure.
Somehow we got on the origins of team names. I don't remember how.
Okay.
And I was just sitting there and Slee and Schaefer were talking. I was like, how did the Philadelphia 76ers get their name? And John goes, you're kidding me. And I'm like, no, I'm genuinely curious. Like what is a 76er? And then Alan goes, what year was our country founded? I was like, that's what it was. And then Rich sent a text in. Apparently they don't teach history at San Diego State. And listen, I must have missed that day.
Well, you see, Sammy, George Washington was the first president of the United States.
He came to America.
And he famously crossed the Delaware River on a cold December night.
Of course. And that picture where they're up there, he's leading the charge.
Christmas night, December 25th, 1776.
And they were tired. They were like, we're done with these English people just running us. You know what I mean?
And then we threw a bunch of tea into the harbor. And now it's been a party ever since. 1776, the greatest year in history.
When we were learning about the Revolutionary War, it's actually crazy, is for a little history side note to show that I actually did pay attention in class. The British they had to shoot in their little firing squad thing. So they had to move as one. So America was just running around picking people off.
Dog. We were crazy out there.
Yeah. Like we're just running around with some muskets and trinkets, just,
dominating is the word you're looking for, Sammy.
Just like we would in the NFL if they were in London.
We were the little engine that could. Nobody thought we had a chance. We were 10-1 underdogs. And guess what? We stepped up and said, no more taxation without representation. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave. And we're going to show you.
Can you imagine if we could have got live odds on America before the Revolutionary War?
Bro.
Plus 1,000 underdogs.
Would be rich.
We would be little Americans.
Rich. Thank you to everyone who fought so bravely in 1776. I'm so glad we're not eating beans on toast and drinking tea in the middle of the day and eating biscuits.
Yeah, we'd have to take a break from this show right now to go get some crumpets and tea.
Yeah, maybe a little nap time. Nuh-uh. Capitalism, baby. Here we go. All right, it is San Diego Sports 760. We're about wrapping it up. There is a dude who's going to be on the mound today for the Milwaukee Brewers. Look, Padres are pitching Michael King. He's been terrific lately. He's been terrific this season so far. Jacob Mizorowski is the real freaking deal, man. When you're talking about young, up-and-coming superstars in Major League Baseball, it's like Paul Skeens obviously is the top, who just almost had another no-hitter who looks unhittable this year. Jacob Mizorowski, you're going to see like 6.5 innings of 102 miles per hour tonight. I don't even know if the Padres are going to be able to handle this. They haven't been good at hitting starting pitching all year. I'm saying all this now, and probably a 10-run offensive explosion is coming for the Padres.
That would be
today.
Fantastic.
I'd love to see it, but 102 for 6 innings straight. I'll be honest, I'm a little worried about those Padres today facing off with the Miz. Who is this year 2 of Mizorowski? I think his rookie season
right?
was last year.
He came on last year and kind of took the Brewers by storm.
Is it bad that I'm actually kind of excited to see him pitch?
Hey, you should be excited to see him pitch. He's generational. This is like when, especially in baseball, when you get to face a Paul Skeens, you get to face a Schoolboy. It's a great opportunity for your team.
It's like, I remember last year when the Padres were playing against the Yankees, Kevin Acee was like, is it bad that I'm kind of excited to see Aaron Judge play baseball? Like there are superstars that elevate. I would imagine every year when Barry Bonds came to town to play the Padres, people were excited here in San Diego to see if Barry Bonds could hit one
just
out.
Like when Tony Gwynn was here, people were excited to get to watch Tony Gwynn in person. No, this is a golden opportunity for the Padres to step up against big time opposition, and we'll see if they come through.
Sammy, you got anyone cool coming on your show later today?
Tomorrow. No, I'm kidding.
The hell are you talking about right now, man?
No.
Sammy's got an hour of content coming up next, and he has a special guest coming on.
I have a special guest at 2:30. Very excited to get to talk to this guy, a young up-and-comer in the business. Mr. Ben Fletcher will be stopping by to talk some PGA Championship at 2:30.
Hell yeah, brother. We got another major championship getting going tomorrow. Can the hometown boy, Ricky Fowler, get it done? I'll let you know coming up at 2:30 today. All right, Sammy, I'll talk to you in a half hour. See you, everybody. Ben Fletcher, Sammy Long. We're done for today. Be back tomorrow at noon. More Russell Dickerson tickets tomorrow at San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app.
The sport is sponsored by Anderson Plumbing, Heating, and Air. The Padres and Brewers are getting set for game 2 of their series in Milwaukee. It's going to be Michael King going for the Friars and Jacob Mizorowski going for the Crew. First pitch is set for 4:40. We got game 5 in the NBA playoffs for Cavs Pistons. That's going to tip off a little bit after 5 o'clock. And right here tonight, we got San Diego FC when they come home to Snapdragon Stadium to take on Austin FC. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren begins at 6 o'clock. Choosing the right home service company isn't just about fixing what's broken. It's about trusting who's in your home. That's why homeowners count on Anderson for friendly professional service that keeps everything running right. Visit AndersonPHA.com.
Going long with Sammy.
That's going to be hot.
In depth on the story of the day. Plus, it's warm in the hot seat. Now,
I gotta go to the dentist later today. So, all right, we're starting the show. We got a lot going on. We got sweet Ben Fletcher stopping by at 2:30, talking PGA Championship. Okay, we're gonna get to the possible expansion of the NFL overseas, and we're gonna get to the MLB, the Padres, and the owners agreement. But so I'm walking out of the studio. Brent's coming in. And I gotta go to the dentist later. And I totally forgot about this. And Brent, would you mind telling the story of what you just told me as we were coming in here?
No, I've told this story before on the Cannons and everything before. But no, the dentist that I had when I was a kid, he went to prison for like fraud and embezzlement because you would go in there and they would, look at your teeth and he'd tell your parents that you had 2 cavities. But in reality, you would have 0 cavities. They were just pretty much taking money from you and putting fillings in your teeth that you didn't need.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but the fact that he's sitting down with parents going, I mean, little Susie's got to have a better diet. Okay.
Back on the sweets.
Back on the sweets. That is crazy. Yeah, the dentist. I go to the dentist later. It's, I'm not one of these people that freak out about the dentist, but it's not the most enjoyable experience. You just and the crazy thing about the dentist, and I promise we'll get to sports in a minute, is when they talk to you. Because I get it, if you're a dentist, you're probably just you're cleaning people's teeth all day. This is just talking on the radio. So they prop your mouth open and then they ask you questions and you're trying to talk and it's just an abject disaster. So I'll give a full recap of my dentist experience tomorrow when we get on the show. Tomorrow, we actually have a very big guest. So Anders Dreyer stopping by 2:30, SDFC playing tonight. Hopefully they can get back on track against Austin FC. You'll hear that game on San Diego Sports 760 starting at 6:30. So excited to get to talk to Anders Dreyer tomorrow. And then Ben Fletcher stopping by at 2:30 later talking about the little PGA Championship. And Rory has a blister on his toe. He's been missing practice rounds. Is that going to affect him in the major? We're going to get Ben's thoughts on all that. But first, let's start with the MLB, the potential lockout. So December 1st, crucial day. It's when the collective bargaining agreement is expiring. And there's so much to unpack here with the collective bargaining agreement. So it's widely been thought of that this team is, or the league is not going to be playing next year. There's going to be a lockout, and we all know it's over. The owners want a salary cap and the players don't. When you kind of break this down though, there's 3 different groups of people. There's fans, there's players, and there's owners. And it's a weird situation where they all kind of want different things. So the owners are sitting there going, all right, we want a salary cap. We want to be able to compete. We don't want to have to pay. I mean, baseball really is the only sport where you pay guys kind of sight unseen. I mean, you say Connor Griffin with the Pirates is getting paid. He got a huge contract. He had played 2 games for the Pirates, and the first 2 games he hadn't even got a hit yet, but it's all about paying guys of what they can be. Baseball has these massive contracts in terms of dollars and with just length. I mean, you see 9, 10, 11-year contracts in Major League Baseball, and that's just so rare in other sports. And the MLB owners want a salary cap. They want to be able to compete. They're tired of the Dodgers being able to just spend money left and right. I mean, it's not usually in most sports, the defending champ doesn't go out and get the best hitter on the market and Kyle Tucker and the best closer on the market and Edwin Diaz. It's not usually the case. Usually it's you're worried about losses from your team and getting poached. In the NFL, teams that win Super Bowls, their coordinators immediately get picked apart. I mean, look at the Seahawks this year. Clint Kubiak is the OC for the Seahawks, now the head coach of the Raiders. Kenneth Walker, Super Bowl MVP, now playing for the Chiefs. I mean, Tariq Woolen, they've had a lot of losses, and it's kind of about managing those losses. Major League Baseball hasn't really been been that way for champs and perennial contenders. Then you have the players. Then you have the players who want something else. The players are really just invested in how much money can I make, because it's odd for how Major League Baseball is in terms of revenue and things like that behind the NFL, behind the NBA, behind sports like that, except they're the only one that doesn't have a salary cap. So players can make whatever the hell they want. We've seen Manny Machado come out and defend the Dodgers spending. Actually, we've seen Bryce Harper defend the Dodgers spending, because at the end of the day, I don't want to speak for all players. Isn't necessarily the case, but I think a lot of players are like, yeah, it's frustrating the Dodgers spending or the Yankees spending or teams like that. But at the end of the day, if I'm making a big contract, like Jake Cronenworth is nowhere making what he makes on his deal now with a salary cap. That's just not happening. You're having to make tough decisions. Manny Machado is not receiving an extension at his age that's backloaded and only increases as the years go on in a salary cap league. Fernando Tatis, you probably still would have gotten signed when he got signed. But again, these super long contracts, you would be really hesitant considering that in the salary cap, it's going to eat up a chunk of your dollars signing a guy for this many years. So the players are really looking out for them. And then you have the fans. You have the fans, all of us who want to see competitive baseball and are looking for, hey, what's the best way for everyone to be able to compete? And, it's not just a salary cap. It's the salary floor. The salary floor we've talked about a lot over the years, but the salary floor is just as big a problem as the salary cap. Look, it's frustrating that the Dodgers go get all the top free agents, but in fairness to the Dodgers, they're at least trying to win. Like, there's so many teams in Major League Baseball that is simply not trying to win. I'll just go back to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Paul Skeens almost throws a no-hitter last night. They got Bubba Chandler. I mean, they got multiple big-time pitchers, and yet their owner is not going to go spend like a major market team to give them the ability to win because the bats just aren't good enough. Teams like the A's, teams like, the Marlins were having a decent year, but the Marlins and teams like that are really, they may say at the presser they're trying to win. They're not trying to win because they don't spend like they're trying to win. So it's a weird thing where then the fans are like, we want a salary floor, we want a salary cap, we want to see even keeled baseball all the way around. And it's a bummer that it looks like that's what we're heading for. That, I mean, they're talking soon. They've had years to get this agreement figured out, and yet they haven't done it yet. And the fact that they're magically going to snap their fingers and come to an agreement, I mean, there's so many things that they want a salary cap owners. They want, international pool, there to be like a draft versus just being able to sign guys left and right, which would, not make sense. It wouldn't favor the Dodgers and the Yankees that have so much money to be able to just go throw at international players. There's been usually when the MLB season comes up, there's been talks about, shortening the season. That feels like it's on the back burner simply because teams don't have TV deals. So it's a complex situation. Hopefully it gets resolved. Hopefully we get baseball next year, but it certainly is not looking great in that regard. And especially if players are going to prioritize their own pockets over the equity of the game, which I'm not even blaming them. I'm not going to sit here and have revisionist history. If I was a big time baseball player, I'd probably go, yeah, I want the big contract too. I mean, it's easy to say that as fans when we're not signing those deals. Just like when it's like, oh, a guy could take less money to come play here. But when you got two contracts in front of you and one's offering $50 million more, probably hard for a lot of people to pass that up. It's just they're at a stalemate. I really don't know what fixes it. Hopefully the MLB can figure something out, because it would be a shame if we miss baseball next year. And in the sense of like, what does that do to baseball? What does that do to the sport of baseball? Because the last 10 years, I really think whatever baseball's done has been successful in terms of the runner on second. I think it's been a great ad during the regular season, shortening games. The pitch clock is a lifesaver. I mean, love what the pitch clock has done on average, shortening games in real time by like 27 minutes, something like that, which is, I think, great for the sport. I think ABS has been a fun added element to the sport. Baseball has finally been able to kind of change and not be stuck in their ways like they have been for a number of years when they were kind of declining in popularity. You wonder if they miss a season last year or next year, what does that do to the sport? If I was the NBA, I would, people have clamored for this for years, start the season on Christmas Day and then run it through summer. And if Major League Baseball is not there, you're going to really dominate the headlines because there's going to be nothing else. There's going to be nothing going on in the summer. Baseball, that's kind of the one thing baseball has, is that they're able to dominate the summer because there's a lack of options everywhere else. You wonder what it does to the popularity of the sport. Does it create clamoring for the sport? Where I'm genuinely curious. Texas 70470. Start your message with team or shoot us a call 877-767-4760. 877-767-4760. I wonder if it creates wanting and a need for baseball the following year where we're going to see people more excited for baseball than ever. Or is it going to kind of curtail a little bit of popularity in the sport? And it's going to have to start not from scratch, but outside of the MLB diehards, are they bringing in the casual fans, which I think they've done a really good job of the last decade or so in bringing. So I'm just curious, kind of thinking out loud, wonder what that gets them. The Padres taking on the Miz, Jacob Mizorowski tonight. Last night, the NL West, maybe we overrated how talented this whole division is because the Padres, I give them credit, they're winning a bunch of games atop the NL West right now. Don't always look great. Like last night, they score only 4 runs. The Dodgers are playing terrible baseball right now. I mean, Blake Snell coming back did not look good in his first start. Robleski got ate up on Sunday. Sasaki got ate up a little bit on Monday. And the Dodgers have lost 4 straight games, I believe, by 4+ runs, which is very shocking, and all at Dodger Stadium, by the way. So I mean, I'm kind of joking. I do think the Dodgers are going to be very good. I think the Padres will be good, but the Padres are a tough team to figure out. And I know a lot of people have got on our text line today like, oh, the Padres are facing Mizorowski. What's going to happen? I'm excited and not excited. I'm not excited in the sense of the past month or two, what they've shown is that they can't hit starting pitching. So when you face a guy like Jacob Mizorowski, that's scary because he's unbelievable. I mean, this guy's throwing 103 miles per hour. He's like rivaling Mason Miller. What could the Miz do out of the bullpen? That would be absolutely insane if he was just coming in for 1 inning. He's a rookie sensation. But on the flip side of it, it's a golden opportunity for the Padres to get to finally hit off a big time pitcher because outside of Logan Webb, they haven't hit off many big time pitchers so far this season. Paul Skeens got after him. Tarek Skubal got after him. And it's hard. It's hard to hit those kind of pitchers, but this is another opportunity because he's in that kind of realm of those pitchers going to be a constant threat to win Cy Young over his probably many years in the league. But the Padres, it's tough to assess right now. The Dodgers not playing good, so they're sitting there towards the top. They are currently even in run differential through the first month and a half, which is pretty insane. Like the Dodgers are not playing well right now, but they're like plus 65 in run differential. So it all comes up to the bats. We have the same conversation all the time, but the starting pitching staff is doing their job. I know Matt Waldron was not very good yesterday after Brad G. Rodriguez started the game, but it's hard for me to come on here and bash Matt Waldron when Matt Waldron's probably not going to be with the team in a week because Lucas Giolito is coming up. Overall, I think if you would have said this team is 16th in ERA in Musgrove and Pivetta, Musgrove wouldn't have pitched yet. Pivetta's missed most of the season and missing a lot more time. We're hearing that it might return around the All-Star break, but the starting pitching staff's pretty much held up. The bullpen's been money. The other pieces, Xander Bogaerts has stepped up. Ramon Laureano was good early. Some of his metrics have fallen off recently. Guys like Luis Campusano has stepped up, but it was nice to see Fernando kind of get a little jump there in the 8th inning. But then Machado didn't come through later. So if the Padres are going to keep waiting for bullpens to not hit starting pitching, and the only success they have is against bullpens, because that's typically when they've had success in games, it's come against other teams' bullpens. They're one of the highest scoring teams in the league, actually, in terms of in 9th inning scoring. When you face upper tier competition and you're facing a Brewers bullpen that's pretty good, it's going to be hard to come back in these games. Big test for the Padres tonight. All right, 15 minutes Ben Fletcher stopping by, my co-host, taking a little break for a little nap for 30 minutes, coming back, talking a little PGA Championship. On the other side, we have the NFL International schedule slate comes out today. When will we ever see a team in London? Is that coming soon? That's coming up next. Going along, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. SDFC is back at Snapdragon Stadium tonight when they host Austin FC. Our pre-match coverage with Darren and Adrian begin at 6 p.m. Yeah, it feels like a big game for SDFC. I mean, we keep talking about how are they going to get it going? Like they're getting points because they keep drawing, but at some point they got to put some wins on the board and get those 3 points. So big game tonight. Hopefully SDFC can come through. Anders Dreyer coming on the show tomorrow at 2:30. So reacting to the game tonight and what's to come with SDFC. All right, NFL schedule release is tomorrow. They released the international games today. We got 9 or 11 international games. So Niners, Rams, and Melbourne. We run through them all. Rio de Janeiro, London's got 3 games. Paris has a game. Madrid's got a game. Munich's got a game. And Mexico City has a game. So Fletch and I were talking about a little bit earlier. Like, the NFL looks like it's setting up overseas to get a game or to get a team. London to get a team. They've always talked about it for years. There's been the thought of they threw out there hosting a Super Bowl, which would be crazy in London. I mean, that's ridiculous. Like, I don't want to see a Super Bowl in London. I'm all for the international games. I think it's cool that we get football at 6 a.m. in the morning. And hey, anything expanding the game is great, but I don't need to see a Super Bowl played at Wembley Stadium. They're not hosting the Premier League championship in at MetLife. They're not doing that. So with the international games, you do feel like, but now London's got 3 games. So it went from 1 game in London and 1 game in Mexico City to now. I mean, it's a real part of the schedule is that teams are traveling overseas, and so much has been made about the travel. Like, that's why it wouldn't be feasible, because you would be like, if you're the Rams or you're the Seahawks and you have to go play in London, how does that work with your schedule? You're going to be at a disadvantage. When you come back for the week after, you're going to be at a disadvantage. And how does that work for the London team? Like, let's just say London was the first to get a team. How would that work for them? Would they be able to be flying back and forth? And then also, what free agents would want to go there? Like, if you're a kid from, I don't know, the South, you're from Georgia or in New Orleans, Louisiana, are you really in free agency going to go, yeah, I want to go play overseas in London? Like, it's because outside of London getting some homegrown talent that want to stay, you wonder if that's feasible. But the NFL does look like they're setting it up for that. Now, Mexico City is getting a game. Mexico and Canada getting teams would be much easier because you wouldn't have the travel barriers as much. That wouldn't be as big of a factor. Canada has the Canadian Football League, which has been successful up there. So they're already kind of into football. And I think Mexico would certainly embrace a team. And I don't think that's a tough sell to get, Southern California kids to go play in Mexico. That's totally different than going over to London. But I wonder if they at one point try to get a division over there. Because the only way I see it working, because if you have one team and they're going back and forth, I don't know how that works. Like, I don't understand how, if you're the Cowboys and then you're playing the London and then you're going to New York and then you're going to Seattle, like, how is that going to work? I do think if you had a division over there where there were 4 teams, maybe one's in London, there's a game in Paris this year and in France. If you had a division of a couple teams, you could outfit the schedule to where they actually played each other over the span of 6 to 8 weeks. And then they were basically on the road for half the season. So they're at home for half the season, on the road for half the season. Again, I don't know how many free agents would want to go play there, but I do think it's where the NFL is headed. And I wonder how that plays out. Brent, what do you think about a overseas team?
Won't happen. They already tried NFL Europe and it failed. It's one thing to have a handful of games over there because then it's more of an event, but I don't think they can sustain like having a whole season over there. I think they would get sick of it. That's what happened with NFL Europe. That's why it went under. And we don't see, in the NBA, you see this whole influx of, European players and players from outside of the US that are coming because of the NBA's impact globally. We're not seeing, where are all the NFL players from London, that we should be getting because the game is expanding and it's so big in Europe that, where are all these European NFL players?
Right.
We don't see them. We'll get like some rugby kicker or something like that will punt, but I'm not counting that. I mean, like an actual player. We're not seeing them.
Right. That's a good point in the NBA, right? You have Luka, you have Giannis, you have Shea from Canada, you have stars, Jokic that are coming over, so it's easy to market because they're from their country, or the game is developing at a high level over there. I feel like the NFL is going to try it. I don't know if it would work, but because the international games, I think if you're the NFL, you really have to figure out, is it sell it because they sell well over there just for those games, but is it because people are wrapping a trip around the game, like a Niners fans, like I've always wanted to go to London, and the Niners are playing they're playing Mexico City this year, and then Australia. But let's say they're like, we want to go to Australia, so we're wrapping a trip, so we're going, and it's an event, to Brent's point. Or are they actually in London having people who are growing up getting into NFL football, where then they would support a home team? I'm curious. I feel like they're going to try it, but again, I don't know if it's the best thing for the NFL and for teams. I don't see that team working, because with the bulk of talent coming from America, I don't know how many guys are going to want to go play over in London. All right, coming up next, Ben Fletcher joining the show, talking a little PGA Championship. So Scotty, the heavy favorite, almost a 3-1 favorite, which plus 300 at golf is still something. Rory is the second favorite at plus 900. He has a blister on his toe. He's been missing practice rounds all week. What does that mean for the PGA Championship going out in Philadelphia? That's coming up next on Going Long, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
This report is sponsored by Mattress Firm. Padres are in Milwaukee getting set for game 2 of their series against the Brewers tonight. It's going to be Michael King going for San Diego and Jacob Mizorowski going for the Brewers. First pitch is set for 4:40. We got Cavs Pistons game 5 tonight in the NBA. That should tip off after 5 o'clock. And right here on San Diego Sports 760 at 6 o'clock, we have San Diego FC when they come back to Snapdragon to take on Austin FC. Our coverage with Adrian and Darren will begin at 6 o'clock. Ready to upgrade to the perfect sleep setup? Let Mattress Firm's sleep experts guide you to the perfect bed at the Memorial Day sale. Top brands, ideal comfort, score unbeatable deals on both. Mattress Firm, they'll make sleep easy.
Ain't nothing wrong with a little heat. Getting warm around here.
Light the fires, Big Daddy.
Who's next in the hot seat?
Ben Fletcher will be joining us in just about a minute. We're talking about PGA Championship. I'm excited, man. Like, golf is in a fun spot right now because you got Scotty, we kind of thought was just dominating forever, and he was dominating forever. But now all of a sudden he's at a few second place finishes, and Rory wins back-to-back Masters. You know, Scotty's the defending champ of the PGA, and then you got all these live guys. You know, they've been allowed to play in the majors, but now they're maybe coming back to the tour. So it's a fun time for golf where you're getting Rory, Scotty, that kind of narrative. Young guys like Aberg, and now you got guys like Cam Young and John Rahm coming back, DeChambeau. Like there's a lot of talent at this PGA Championship, and I'm really excited to see what happens. Ben Fletcher, first off, did you make it home from the studio from I saw you 20 minutes ago?
I did. I've made myself a plate of leftovers. I'm in my backyard throwing the ball for my dog and talking golf.
I love it. My guy. All right. So when you look at the odds this week, so Scotty is the massive favorite at plus 310, and you got Rory's the next favorite at like plus 900. What do you make off the jump? So Rory's had a blister on his foot. He missed some practice rounds last couple days. Do you see that playing a factor this weekend out there in Philadelphia?
Blisters are a big deal, Sammy, especially in the world of golf. Golf's not necessarily known for their, super endurance athletes who are going to fight through a torn hamstring or something like you see in the NFL. But Rory, that is a problem for him. If it's a serious thing with his plant foot, that is a problem for Rory McIlroy, especially this week. It's going to be tough conditions. I do find it fascinating, some of the names that are super long odds, like Tyrell Hatton's playing better golf than just about anyone right now. He's way down the list. Chris Gotterup has played terrifically this year. Siwoo Kim has played incredible this year. And then you have a bunch of the live guys down there as well. So I think that there is some advantage plays you can do here, and maybe we can get into it a little bit, but I just made a little top 10 finish parlay that I love for this weekend.
So, okay. So are you, well, we talk betting all the time. What's your favorite bet in golf? Because people, I think, just throw money on the winner, but there is so many, to your point, of like top 10 finishes. What's your favorite top 10 finish that's maybe a little bit of a longer odd?
I really do love Tyrell Hatton to finish in the top 10 this week, and I think that's going to happen. If you want a long shot top 10 finish, Ricky Fowler is playing some incredible golf right now. Probably the best he's played in the last 5 years. You can never put money on Ricky to win a major simply because he's never done it. And if this was the time to do it, that would be awesome. And I think everyone would be rooting for him to finish and win a major. But I think Ricky for a top 10 finish is worth maybe a couple of bucks. Tyrell Hatton, I would put more than a couple bucks on for a top 10 finish. Tommy Fleetwood is a guy who's always around there at the end. But that is where you can actually make money in golf betting is top 10 finishes, because so much of it is based on how their game is trending. So much of it is based on course ownage and how they've played the course in the past. Now, it is an interesting course this week, Sammy, because I don't know how much you've read up on it, but Aaron Emick is not regularly played on the PGA Tour. I think 3 times in the last 16 years, there's actually been a tournament there. And the reason they went away from it is the reason the PGA Tour goes away from every golf course. It wasn't long enough. So what they did was lengthen it out big time, got it up to 7,400 yards, which is what you typically see for majors, U.S. Opens, PGA Championships. And they added a boatload of bunkers. So they added like over 60 bunkers to this course. It's now up to 174. And they had to do that because there's only 3 holes on the entire course that actually have water hazards on it.
So they added a bunch of bunkers in the middle of the fairway where these guys are landing their drives now, which is around 300 yards. And this could be a week where you're seeing guys trying to fight out of the sand like crazy. So they narrowed the fairways, added a bunch of bunkers, made the rough nearly unplayable. So what the course lacks in like natural out of bounds or penalty shots like water, they've added in making just really hard golf shots in play for the entire week.
Who does that favor? Like what is there a golfer that stands out to you that kind of style of course really excels at?
Well, I think what it does is it nullifies the guys who are just going to hit the ball 330 yards. So it hurts Bryson, it hurts Rory, it hurts Scotty, and it leaves it open for some of the guys who aren't hitting it necessarily as far, but who are excellent with control. And that's where someone like Xander Schauffele can jump up big time this week and get another major win. That's where a guy like Tommy Fleetwood, this tournament's made for him. I mean, he comes from playing links golf out there in England, and that's almost a little more similar to this. Like if you had a narrow course links golf, that's what this would be. And I know that's kind of hard to picture because so much of links golf is so wide open, but you're dealing with these fairway bunkers all the way around, and every green is going to be protected. I think guys who played a lot in England growing up, I think guys who have kind of played overseas more and don't necessarily hit the ball 320 yards off the tee, it actually does benefit them this week. It was actually described, I heard earlier today, as a little bit Augusta with the second shot, because your drive is going to be where your drive is, right? And it's a narrow fairway, so you got to hit it. But that second shot into these greens, which are massive, you're going to have to land it in such a narrow spot that it's going to be the control players who stand out a little bit this week.
Ben Fletcher joining me right now. We've seen Rory dominate the last two Masters win. Scotty's been on a tear of number 2 place finishes. I believe he's had 3 number 2 place finishes so far this year on the tour. Do you like, where do you put that kind of Rory Scotty rivalry? Like, cause Scotty, it's been a second since he won a major. He did win this last year, but like, how important do you see this as a major for Scotty to kind of show that he's still the number 1 player in the world?
I wish they would talk more smack back and forth, if I'm being completely honest. Like, Scotty doesn't necessarily like the guys who went over to live. Rory doesn't necessarily like the guys who went over to live. But part of what made Tiger and Phil so great when they were going back and forth in the early 2000s was, whether it was real or fabricated a little bit, you kind of felt like there was a actual rivalry between the two of them. Rory just seems so caught up in his emotions all the time that I don't know that he ever actually feels any type of way about any other golfer. And Scotty just seems like a guy who I don't even know how much he cares about golf. I think he cares about his family. He cares about making money, and he happens to be really good at golf. So I almost wish that other stars like Cam Young, who's got a real fire to him, Tyrell Hatton, who I've mentioned a couple times, has a real fire and competitiveness to him. Like, I know Rory has that, but he always seems so caught up in the woe is me thing that you don't really feel like you can get behind him as much. And Rory's great play has what has made us all fans of Rory over the years. And Rory, like, choking in majors and then coming back and winning the last 2 Masters make us fans of him. But I wish he had a little more fire to him. Like, give me a little bit of that Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama back and forth in the world of golf. But we're not getting it from Scotty or Rory. So I kind of hope it's time that guys like Cam Young, Tyrell Hatton start working their way up. And those are the new names we're talking about on a regular basis. But Scotty's too good, so that's not going to happen.
Yeah, you mentioned that this course doesn't exactly suit DeChambeau because he's such a his really bread and butter is his drive. Where do you see the live guys? So they're looking like they're maybe going under, possibly a lot of these guys coming back to the PGA Tour. DeChambeau's talked about maybe going to YouTube golf, not taking the suspension from the PGA Tour. Do you think this is a major where a guy like Jon Rahm could kind of get back to the top, or how do you see the live guys playing out?
After the Masters, I'm never mentioning Jon Rahm's name again as a potential winner, because I have been dragged now after he played terribly at Augusta. The live guys will be fine. And look, this isn't Augusta, as much as people will try to convince you that at Aeronymous, the second shot is going to feel a little bit Augusta-y. It's not that golf course. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the final score was minus 20 this week, right? And that's just because it's not as challenging as some of the courses that you see on the U.S. Open or at Augusta. But with that being said, like, a guy like Jon Rahm, I would actually tell you his game sets up pretty nicely here this weekend. But the live guys will be fine. I think that once they get back to a little more consistent 72-hole golf, you'll start to see more of it. But like Patrick Reed, who's making his way back in and has kind of already taken the lumps, I feel a lot better about him this week than I do necessarily about Bryson or Rahm. Now, that's not to say Bryson can't kind of hack the course. Like a lot of these courses, you'll say, oh, Bryson's at a disadvantage here because he hits the ball too far. Well, then he'll come out with a 3D printed 5-iron that is hitting the ball 270 off the tee perfectly every time and be absolutely fine. So it does depend a little bit on how much time Bryson has spent thinking about how he's going to combat all these bunkers that are right in his landing area of his driver. And if he does that well, he'll be fine. But the rough is super overgrown. They're getting rain tonight. So the rough is going to be not only overgrown, but also patchy. So if you're missing the fairways tomorrow, you're in trouble.
All right. The Ben Fletcher stamp of approval. Who is winning this thing?
Justin Rose, and he's a long shot. You ready for this, Sammy? Justin Rose, over his career at Aeronymmic, 2010 AT&T National Championship. He was a runner-up finish. He actually ended up tying with Keegan Bradley, lost it in extra holes. And then in 2018, the BMW Championship, 2010 AT&T National, he won. 2018 BMW Championship, he lost in the playoffs to Keegan Bradley. But Justin Rose playing really good golf this year, played well at the Masters again. His numbers, especially putting-wise, have been phenomenal so far this season, and putting is going to be huge just because of how big the greens are this week. So Justin Rose, I'm pretty sure $10 will get you like 600 on him. I placed that earlier today. But watch out for Justin Rose to take this thing completely. Him and Tyrell Hatton combined for top 10 parlay is my favorite bet of the week.
Look at that. 35 to 1. Some sports books can get it at 45 to 1. Justin Rose to win it. The Ben Fletcher stamp of approval. Everyone betting on Rosie this weekend. Ben, you're the best, brother. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, get ready for Justin Rose to miss the cut. You're welcome, San Diego.
You as someone who does a gambling segment every day, you cannot then go back on your bets a second later. No, Ben knows his stuff. Justin Rose. Now he is a big Justin Rose fan. I'll be honest. He's a big Rosie guy. He was pulling for him in the final day of the Masters. But I'm excited for this weekend. Can Rory continue dominance? Does Scotty get back to win it, or do we get a newcomer? Personally, Ricky Fowler, if he won it, that would be awesome. I think Tommy Fleetwood would be another guy that a lot of people get behind. But excited to see what's going on out there in Philadelphia. Rich McGuire on YouTube. The PGA Championship is being played not far from where I lived in Philly. Yeah, I heard that's a beautiful course out there, and excited to get to see it this weekend. All right, Schaefer and Sliwa, they're roaming right outside the studio. They're coming up next. Going long, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. Boys, what's happening today?
What is up, Sammy?
Alan's got his coffee.
Yep.
John has his Trumix.
You know, Alan offered to buy me a coffee this
I should
afternoon,
have
which I thought was very nice.
I didn't ask it. Well, he's on air. Like, what am I going to do?
He was on
You-
there.
There's something
I'm gonna
called
ask
a phone where you can text. That's okay.
Ooh,
That's okay.
Jesus.
Don't worry.
Calling you out.
Sammy, one way of doing it is like, well, hey, I appreciate maybe next time you can get me a cup of coffee,
we are the same, me and Sammy, because I did that too.
Jesus.
I'm like, yeah, he got me something, but it wasn't, it wasn't that expensive.
Boy,
Yeah.
think about what he just did. He
Here's
said,
what's happening.
I thought
Nobody's-
about offering you.
Nobody else is I didn't. If I'm being honest,
Yeah, I know
didn't.
you didn't.
I thought of John because John and I prep at the same time together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And next time, because of that response, I won't think of you.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't sound very appreciative.
What are you drinking?
Have
right
you
now?
ever had, I think I can talk about this. It's like
Who
legal,
cares?
right?
This is the
Have
going
you
long
ever had
show.
adaptogen drinks?
No idea what that is.
It like is good for your like brain.
Okay.
I don't think there's like drugs in it. I don't think it's like a
He
drug.
doesn't think there's
Brent's gonna
drugs
look
in
at
it.
Brent, look that up. Adaptogens.
So
The
what for
theory
brain
being-
power?
I don't think it's brain power. It just makes you feel good.
Yeah.
You get like drug
Cocaine
impacts
also makes
without
you feel
taking
good.
drugs.
Yeah, there's definitely weed in there. There's
I
definitely
don't
THC
think
in there.
there
This
is.
looks like a edible drink.
They sell it at Costco.
Okay, it's organic blackberry lemon social tonic, John. What makes you
right.
feel good in social settings?
I know, but it's at Costco.
There's a lot in that thing.
Costco's elevated into the
Here's
marijuana
what it
game.
is. Let me tell you what it is.
Yeah, I'm listening.
It's a damn good marketing ploy.
It's so good. I know. Because they're not
Because
cheap.
you found out on Monday when we were in Rancho Penasquitos, Naughty Barrel. You found
yeah.
out that a Celsius is like 2.5 times
A Red Bull.
a Red Bull. 2.5
In
times
caffeine.
a Red Bull, and he's drinking Celsius
I'm pounding
like it's a
those things.
freaking
Does that,
orange
okay,
juice.
does that make you shake? Because I don't
Celsius?
like drinks like that make me tweak a little bit.
If I have 2 in a day, which I've done,
2 in a day is crazy, John.
I will not feel good.
But you're not drinking coffee.
Yeah. Why are you not a coffee
No,
guy?
but I will occasionally. I had some today. Here's the thing. I've told you guys this before, like 3 times since moving to San Diego. I ended up
The heart thing,
in the
right?
ER thing.
Yeah.
I was having a heart attack.
Yeah.
And the last time it happened, I texted my boss, Mary, and said, hey, I'm not going to be in.
Mhm.
I'm in like the ER. She's like, stop drinking so much caffeine.
Yeah.
I think she's spot on.
Yeah.
I think she figured something out.
So then, since then, you've been having Celsius from our vending machine here.
Correct.
Yes.
No, seriously. It's addictive. But I feel like
Did
there's
it-
worse things I could be addicted to. Maybe
So
not.
did you take that show off, or did you take the Comrex with you?
I took that show off.
Okay, you should take the Comrex, plug in right into the internet
from
line.
next to the EKG.
Next to the ER.
Yep.
They're like, Mr. Schaefer,
They
do
got
you want to have your
Wi-Fi.
heart?
They're
because-
like, you're fine.
Their
Hold on,
Wi-Fi is
the-
really good.
The Padres starting pitching rotation needs to be analyzed.
I asked the guy,
Gotta
I said,
talk
what would you
Waldron.
do? I said, what would you do? I got a kid. I mean, even without a kid, I'm not trying to just kill over and die.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I
that's-
said,
you're
my
preferably
right
not.
about that.
I said,
yeah.
what do you do? And it was a young guy. Like, it was a guy in his 40s, like the doctor. He's like, man, tough call. He's like, I've had the same symptoms. And it's like, what do you do? Because if you make the wrong decision, you could be dead. But he's like, if you have similar symptoms and you've experienced them before, and that's the only symptom you're experiencing, is like, you could probably roll the dice if you wanted to.
Wait, hold on. Roll the dice on being on the radio?
No, like you don't have to go to the ER every time you think you're having a heart attack. No, I'm not
Oh,
advising
yeah.
that. He told
Brother, if you
this was my
feel like you're
conversation.
having a
then you have
heart
to go, right?
attack,
That was my theory.
why don't you go ahead and just go to the doctor?
But my wife was like, are you serious to go to the hospital? I'm like, yeah, because I'm going to die.
Your wife's
Yeah.
awesome, bro.
Yeah.
Here's what I know about your wife so far.
Chris is
okay?
fantastic.
I know that she's a huge NBA fan.
Yeah.
Okay?
Huge.
I know she's telling you to man up a little bit when it comes to your heart.
In the
Oh,
gym.
yeah, when it comes
to
in
your
the
heart, like-
gym.
And then the third thing is
Oh, yeah.
the gym. When
She
she's
told me
telling
that-
you, like, why don't you
She
lift a
said today
little
on
more
the
there,
squat,
buddy?
she's like, hey, the squats include a turn at the end. I'm like, I'm not turning. It's hard enough for me to do this lunge thing. It was a lunge with like a twist.
She's awesome.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to the gym with you if you're going to critique my gym.
Did we know these are also cup holders? Did we know
the
that?
What?
mic flags. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These just
Look at
are
that.
straight.
By the way,
Do a whole
wouldn't
show.
advise.
Do a whole show.
Alan, look at that. That needs to get posted on social media.
Yeah.
Alan has ruined Starbucks for me.
He's ruined Starbucks.
I take that
Wow.
back. I take that back. I love me some Starbucks. Would love to get an endorsement because I go there about every morning.
Starbucks crossover.
The Starbucks crossover. No, they've
Hi,
ruined.
this is Sammy for Starbucks. Alan has ruined Starbucks for me.
No, it was Alan's fault.
Mhm.
Starbucks has not been ruined for me. It's the people that go to Starbucks because I'm in line today, and
The
there's
best.
some guy
Best.
looking at the menu,
Mhm.
and Alan has had to take. I'll let you say it about people who take too long looking at a Starbucks menu.
It's like they're at a foreign country,
and they're at a restaurant where the menu is in Chinese. It's a different language.
But why
and
are
they're
the drinks?
standing there, and there's no photos either. So now you have to pick like what to get.
Yes.
Yo, hear me out. So Kristen today, when I picked up Starbucks,
Mhm.
'cause I was by one just randomly. I'm like, do you want Starbucks? She goes, yes, please. Grande caramel macchiato with soy and no foam.
It's
please.
a football audible.
So it is seriously, yes. That's second
good.
and
That's
goal
good.
in a playoff game.
Yeah, that is.
Okay,
that is.
that's
and
a
that's like
wild card.
McVay, like
Yeah.
in the weeds
It's
of
second
getting
goal from
down
the
there.
9. Like we have work to do on this play.
You know what'd be
This is
awesome
important.
is if that is one of the play calls.
Right.
Like, no phone.
Grande.
No phone.
Why don't they
No
just say
foam.
large coffee?
Did Mahomes just say no foam?
No soy. No soy.
Grande caramel macchiato with soy.
You know what I
no
refuse
foam,
to
please.
do when I'm at Starbucks? I refuse to say
The grande.
tall,
Yeah.
venti,
You just
whatever.
say
I just say
medium.
medium.
Regular.
Medium.
And if you say it, then they will say what this, like if I say a small, they'll say a tall, but I go small.
How about, by the way,
we just go back and forth. Every
great.
time they say
That's great.
a tall, I'm
That's
like,
like
yeah,
small,
so
yeah,
small it
small.
is.
and there's always that great moment when you're about to pay, and then they hand you the tip. $1, $2, $3.
Oh, yeah.
And I go, I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, you seem like a nice guy, but you also are just handing me my coffee. So I'm not sure.
Oh
if
wow,
the
you're anti-tipping.
I'm anti-tipping when it's not when it's like you're just handing me the job. Like
somebody
I
to
worked,
make the coffee.
I worked. Yeah, but they didn't make the coffee. The person working the drive didn't make the coffee.
Ah.
I would rather tip the person who's actually brewing the
Sammy
coffee.
put his foot down today. You know what Sammy said? Sammy said, I don't care what you do when you're at work. Sammy says, when I get out of the radio station, nobody
It's
leaves
my
me a
rules.
tip.
Yeah.
iHeart hasn't left me a tip.
Exactly. I worked at a gym
It's
for years.
different.
I never got a tip once.
Because you worked at a gym.
Exactly.
But don't they split the tip? Like at the drive-through handover guy, they're pooling
Are
it
they
together.
But we don't know.
Listen,
If it's
the
cash
the tip conversation
is a real
is
thing.
a very pressure conversation. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna get canceled.
There is
on
some
here.
pressure. If you're standing there
and they look at you
and you see what's going on, you're getting a 20% tip. If you turn around, maybe I'm going down to 15.
See,
you
I'm the
know?
opposite.
Like I'm now the roundup everywhere you go for
Yeah,
a grocery
everywhere.
store roundup, which I think is
yeah,
really
what are
just
we
a
rounding up for necessarily.
I think
Something-
honestly, I think it does go to a good cause, but really what it is more than anything else, it's an incredible tax benefit towards that business.
We're getting out of here, but I'm the opposite of you.
I'm serious.
I'm the opposite of you. If someone turns away at the tip thing, I will give them more of a tip
They're gonna see
versus
it.
if they look at me and go, "Do you want to
Yeah, if they're
select
looking
something?"
at me, I might even do 22%. The pressure,
Right.
the
22%
25%.
is big. Yeah.
What's on the show today, boys?
That's basically it. That's
Starbucks
basically it.
orders. and
Kevin
fodder.
AC.
I
Kevin,
love the audible that you had earlier.
which was what?
Kristen's order.
Did you
The
believe
order.
that?
X,
Order?
Y, 5,
phenomenal order.
phone.
Kevin AC at 4 p.m. gets us
Yeah.
ready for game 2.
All right, stay tuned for all that. See everybody tomorrow.